This is the Political Spotlight.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's more like a political flop.
Nobody listens to Bilbrey.
He's just a wannabe podcaster. No one takes him seriously.
He is a rude, crude dude that will never go any further than broadcasting from his mother's basement.
Bilbrey is a wrecking ball for Indiana politicians.
Grab another box of Twinkies and generic cola, Bilbrey.
And get back to your microphone and your audience of nobodies.
The Political Spotlight is a joke.
He is like a rude, crude dude that will never go
Bilbrey's a wrecking ball for Indiana politics. Shut that stupid Bilbrey up.
All right. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It is the big Thursday night episode. I'm telling you, it's it's Thursday. Isn't that amazing? How's it Thursday already? Isn't that crazy? It was just Sunday. And we were literally, well, actually, we weren't here Monday. So on Tuesday, we did a show. And I forget what his name is. It's either Libertarian Jack or Jack Libertarian. We got so many Jacks here. One of the Jacks that's a Libertarian was like, oh, this better be a good show. And I was like, nope. The only good shows are the Sundays and the Thursday shows. Those are the only shows that are good. So, that's that. And I was like, we already had the Sunday show and we won't have the Thursday show for a couple of days. So, but now here we are. It is the Thursday night show. And you know what? All of our shows for the last several weeks have been bangers because we have had great content to bring to you all. And I want to thank you all for being here. However you're watching, wherever you're watching from, I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. We are growing as fast as the Indiana corn, apparently. We are growing a couple times a week. We get added to more audio podcast platforms. So if you are somebody that's an over-the-road driver, you drive for a living, if you would rather listen than watch, YouTube's not your thing, Facebook or Twitter, Rumble's not your thing, you can listen to us on our home link, which is the politicalspotlight.fireside.fm, the politicalspotlight.fireside.fm. Or you can find us on Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, TuneIn, Radio Public, all of the various podcast hosting sites. Matter of fact, if you like a podcast hosting platform that we are not on, get a hold of me and we will see about that. But if you want to watch us, our main places are right here. YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. And really what we did was the YouTube and X, those are our biggies, and then everything else is in the middle. If you're here on X, Facebook, or Rumble, we love it. But eventually, maybe try moving over to YouTube. It's not going to do anything to you. You'll get more comments, and it helps us out a little bit. You can go over there, and you can click the like and the subscribe button. You click the subscribe button only once. You just subscribe once. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to pay to subscribe or anything like this. None of this is behind a paywall. You get all of it. Click the subscribe button. Then you click the like button to each episode, and you're able to comment and see all the comments and do all of that stuff. It'll be absolutely fantastic. We would love it if you would do it. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, as always. Before we get there, I do want to show you, we had the show last night where we were like dodging, are we going to have bad weather tonight? Not going to have bad weather. What's going to happen? What's not going to happen? And I got to be honest, I was right. I mean, we're so right here so frequently on politics, on what's going on in the community. We have the right take here. I am so right. I've even started dipping my toe in the weather forecasting, and we beat out the National Weather Service. We beat out Ryan Hall, y'all. We beat out everybody, because I said from Tuesday on through, I just don't think that it's going to get to the potential where we will see severe weather here in Madison County, Delaware County, Randolph County, Jay County, in this little portion of East Central Indiana. Now, my thoughts and my prayers go out to all of our listeners from elsewhere throughout Indiana and elsewhere throughout the Midwest, because I know that there were some serious things going on, and I'm not making light of that. I'm thinking about them, and my thoughts and my prayers go out to them. My heart breaks for the people that suffered through last night and everything going on yesterday. I'm just thankful that we did not have to suffer any of that here. And so I'm blessed for that. And my heart goes out to everyone that had to deal with it. Yes. That's the thing. I'm such an idiot. If I would just stop messing with the politics and the weather and put my powers to something useful like the lotto or gambling or something, we could all be millionaires. But alas, we are where we are. But while we didn't get struck with badness last night, I will tell you something did happen here. Okay. I wasn't trying to make you emotional. I have no emotions. I'm heartless. We did get struck with something interesting last night, I will tell you, and I'm going to show you this, put this up here on the screen for you all to see. Here at the Mud Creek studio, we had a visit by the stork. The stork left us 6 little baby kittens. Little kittens. I don't know if it's 6 individual storks, or I don't know really what happened here, but look at this thing here. Look what happened overnight. Our studio cat gave birth to a whole mess of fur balls. I'm not a cat person. I could care less about them. But I'm a dog person, but we do have an outside cat here, kind of a half in, half out, half inside, half outside. And she must have been outside at the right time, because last night this happened. We woke up and boom, bang, pow, she had 6 kittens. So look at that. So that's good. We call her Monkey Wrench. The cat's name is Monkey Wrench. So it's a very strange thing. So we're gonna have to name these kittens. It's gonna be like Socket, Tire Iron. One of them we'll call Howe. We're gonna keep one of them. So if you're interested in a kitten, if you're out there in the world and you want a political spotlight Mud Creek kitten, you might let me know, because looks like we have a couple of them. So yeah, hit me up on Facebook and I can put you in contact with the people that you need to know to possibly get you one of those cats. So yeah, that's that. They'll obviously have to be with the mother for a period of time or something like that. But yeah, if somebody wants a spotlight kitten, a little spotlight kitty, let us know, and we can try to hook you. We'll name one of them Space Cat. That works. Let me see here real quick. That's a really good thing. I will do that. Let's see. Maybe this one that kind of looks like her mother, because it's kind of like the blackness of space, and she's got the different space gases and the galaxies on her. This one that's climbing over, we might name that one Space Cat. That's a pretty good name. Yeah, we'll have to we'll have to see if we can do that. That's pretty cool. All right. So moving on, we had a meeting today in the city of Muncie, and I've been waiting for this meeting for a couple of reasons. The meeting today that met, always on the... Is it already? That is unbelievable. The board that met today is the board that always meets on the third Monday or third Thursday of the month, and that is the Muncie City Redevelopment Commission, the MRC meeting. They met today at 9 a.m., and I was very interested in what occurred in that meeting. I wanted to see, number one, I wanted to know how Jeff Howe was going to act, how he was going to behave. Was he going to go in and be his normal self? Was he going to be, Jeff is like an aloof asshole. Was he going to go in and like seem like he didn't know what was going on, but also just be an asshole about it? I was, I didn't know if he was going to continue being that way, if his behavior was going to change because he's now the acting mayor of the city, the acting executive. He's the boss. And so I didn't know if that would kind of, change the way that he came across. Spoiler, it didn't. It didn't do anything. If anything, he's more of an asshole. So I was interested in that. I was interested in what exactly he would be doing. I was interested if there would be any discussion of his new role. And there were some things that were said, maybe not in the way that I would have thought they would have been, or the way that maybe I imagined. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at the meeting. We're going to review the meeting. I have some serious issues with some things that happened in the meeting. But I will tell you, there were some things that happened at the end of the meeting that give me absolute hope that we might be at a little bit of a turning point. I think that there are some citizens that were there. It was a large group of citizens for the MRC. We'll talk about that. But there was a pretty large number of citizens who spoke on the record during the meeting. Remember, they only get 2 minutes there, not 3. And I was hopeful by what I heard and who I heard from and different things. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to look through that. And then I also have a couple of quick bobs and bits that I want to talk about. Okay, some emails and an email situation and some of that we're gonna talk about. And I also then want to talk about an email and a follow-up to a question that I asked Muncie City Councilor of District 2, Nora Powell. She did finally respond to me, and she gave me the timeline for Resolution 8-8. It's Resolution 8-26. And so we're going to talk about the email situation. Then we're going to talk about Resolution 8-26 timeline. So we're going to take these out of order a little bit, and I will go from the MRC is going to be the biggest chunk of the meat of the show tonight. So we're going to talk about the resolution first. Then we'll talk about the email thing, and then we'll talk about the MRC. So that's how the things are gonna roll tonight. So first up, talking about this resolution 8-26. If you recall, I had sent an email to Nora two or 3 days ago, asking Nora the question, saying like, hey, what's going on with this situation? Have we received anything from the clerk's office? Have they complied? What's the deal with the timeline? So the council voted on resolution 8-26 on Monday the 1st. Is it 14 days from then? Is it, what's the situation there? So that's the questions that I had to ask. And I just said, like, please let me know. I'm very interested in knowing what the timeline was. Because, and I'm stalling here real quick as I pull this up. The resolution, we pulled up the whole resolution. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pull up this. The resolution, here's part of the resolution, section 4. This sets aside the procedural timeline and fairness. To ensure a fair and transparent process, the following procedures and timelines shall be followed. Not later than 14 days following the effective date of this resolution, the City Controller's Office will provide to the council copies of the corrective action plans, any communications between the City Controller's Office and the State Board of Accounts during the period of January 2020 through May 21st, 2026, and documents specifying the city's internal control standards. Then not later than 14 days following the receipt of all documents listed above, the council shall submit specific questions in writing to the Controller's Office. And then not later than 14 days following the receipt of the council members' questions, the Controller's Office shall provide a written response. And then section 5 lays out a public hearing not later than 14 days following the receipt of the written response from the Controller's Office. The full council shall conduct a public hearing, and the Controller's Office shall be there to answer questions. The primary purpose of the hearing shall be for the council members to ask follow-up questions and to clarify the written responses provided by the administration. And so I wanted to know, like, what's the deal with this? Because the council voted on that on June 1st. And if 14 days were 14 business days, then that meant Monday was the deadline. And I was like, hadn't been hearing anything about that. And so basically we had went down through and we said, basically, if it's 14 business days from June 1st, then Monday the 15th is when the documents shall be handed over to the council from the Controller's Office. And then 14 days from the 15th would be the 29th, Monday the 29th. And that would mean that's when the questions shall be asked to the controller. And then 14 days from there would be Monday, July 13th. And that's when the controller should have questions back to the council. And then 14 days from there would be Monday, the 27th of July. And that's when the public hearing shall be held, anytime in that period. If it was not business days, and if it was going to be, if it was calendar days. If it was business days, then that time period would be a little bit different. And we figured the time period would be, instead of Monday the 15th, it would be tomorrow, Monday the 19th. And then 2 weeks from then would be Friday the 3rd. And then 2 weeks from that would be Friday, July 17th. And then 2 weeks from that would be Friday, July 31st. Well, Nora finally responded. Thank God. Okay. Nora finally responded, and when I say that, she's pretty decent about getting back with anyone that reaches out to her, even an old enemy like myself. So she responded, and her response looks like this. It says, Resolution 8-26 follow-up. Says, Mr. Bilbrey, I apologize for the delay in response. Look at that. Look how easy it is to respond and then even apologize that it took her 2 days. You know what? I never bitched. You know why I never bitched? Because I knew that Nora would respond. I just sent my 7th or 8th email to Jeff and Dale this month, because those jokers refused to respond to me. It's a joke. But she, even somebody who we don't normally get along very well, she even says, I apologize for the delay in my response. The deadlines for compliance with Resolution 8-26 were set in according to the date the resolution was signed by the mayor. That makes sense. I was a little gung-ho. That makes sense. Council attorney provided the attached graph for members. If you have additional questions, please let me know. Okay. And the graph looks like this. Based on the above, the timeline should be as follows. Okay. So essentially what this means is the mayor of Muncie, the acting mayor, signed it on the 9th. So 14 days after June 9th would be Thursday, July 23rd. So sometime between the 9th and the 23rd, the documents have to be handed over to the controller, from the controller's office to the council. And then sometime between June 23rd and July 7th, the documents have to be handed over, or the questions have to be handed back over from the council to the controller. And then sometime between July 7th and July 21st, the controller's office then has to have the answers to the council. And then sometime between July 21st and August 4th, the council will hold a public meeting. So that means, contrary to what I initially thought, with today being the 18th, the controller's office now has, well, the city of Muncie's not in tomorrow because it's Juneteenth, so they don't work tomorrow. So that means they have 2 days, basically Monday and Tuesday, to comply. So we will see if they comply. I don't know if I think they're going to comply or not. I honestly really don't know what I think. We will keep track of this, and I will let you guys know what happens. As of now, everything's still okay. Everything's still above board, and we will wait and see what happens. We will let you guys know. But we know the deadlines now are June 23rd, July 7th, July 21st, and August 4th. So those are the dates. And hey, everything's A-okay with Bilbrey on the big screen. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. It's closer to what my head size is in real life if you're watching it on the big screen. Just watch it with 3D glasses. It's really scary. Okay, so that's the follow-up to Resolution 8-26. I will have basically nothing more to say about that. I will send out an email on the evening of the 23rd to find out if that had been followed, and we will watch it from there. I'll be honest, I about halfway expect the controller's office to not comply. I about halfway think that they will not they won't comply. And I don't know. Do you think they're going to comply, or do you think they won't comply? You don't think they will? Yeah, I don't think they will either, man. I honestly don't believe they're going to comply. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a shit show. I don't think they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And I guess time will tell. Okay. So that's that, and we will watch that for you guys here and keep you up to date with what's going on. All right. Now the other thing, kind of in that same world, and I just want to. I feel like I've been saying this, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware. Email. It's like it shouldn't be such a problem, but it is, and it's so wild, absolutely so wild. So I checked right before going live. I looked on the email. On my email, I checked to make sure that I had not missed anything. And I do not have an email today and anywhere down here from Jeff Green or Dale Basham. And this is even after Jeff and I had that talk back in, when did we have a talk? In February? Was that talk in February, I think? January or February, because he was the president. So it was January or February. And so we had that chat, and he still hasn't said anything. So I did send a follow-up email to them. It's actually, I said it was 7 or 8. It's actually email 6. So basically what I've done is every second day I send a follow-up. So the meeting was on the 1st. Okay. And so I then sent the first email to them on the 4th, and they didn't respond. So I sent the next email out on I sent the next one out on the 6th, and I was like, hey, just following up. Okay. And then, so now what I do is I just send every 2 days, just following up. So then I sent the 3rd email out on the 8th, and there was nothing. And then I sent the next one out on the 10th, and I'm like, hey, look, just following up, email number 4. And they didn't send anything back. So then on the 12th, I said, hey, just following up, email number 4 here. And then, wait a minute. Ooh, did I send? I think I screwed up. Let me make sure. I'm going to have to correct that record if I did. 4. Okay, that was on the 12th. Let me see what I sent on the 10th. Oh, let's see. Yeah. 10th. Yeah, okay. No, I'm right. Okay, so then from the 12th, then I sent an email to them on the 5th, just following up on Sunday the 14th. And then I sent one to them on the 16th. That was email 6. And then email 7 got sent to them just before the show started. So I will let you know if they respond. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that one of them cannot just send out one-line email saying, we don't have a date yet. That's all they got to do. They don't even have to tell me anything. They could literally say, they don't even have to say Mr. Bilbrey. Somebody could say, we literally do not have a date yet. Period. And you know what? If they said that, I would probably leave them alone for at least a week. At least a week, because we are now, all right, it's, all right, there's no meeting tomorrow. There's no government tomorrow. So that means the government's done until the 22nd. And they've got to give notice of 48 hours. So the very earliest we could have a meeting, because they're not going to have a meeting during the day. So their special meetings and their committee meetings, they're generally held at the earliest 5 or 5:30, but normally around 6 or 6:30. So the very earliest we would likely be able to have a meeting would be on Wednesday, the 24th, at say 5 or 5:30. And that's if it's called on the 22nd. But I don't know. And then we're going to, if they screw up and they don't do anything next week, then we're going to get into the 4th of July weekend. That holiday period. And they have to have this hearing before the Monday, July 6th. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. Absolutely ridiculous. Ask in your next email if you need to call them. No email answering mofos in public comments. Yes, I definitely will. I definitely will. I've been, and here's the thing. There's no one can say that I've not been polite. I've not been rude to them. I've not said anything out of line. I've not said anything out of pocket. My first email, called them by title and said, nothing out of line. And all of my follow-up emails have just said, just following up. And then it's given a number, and that's been it. So there's no reason why they shouldn't have been able to respond to my email, but we'll see what they polite time is over. That's exactly right. We'll see what happens. So it is good. Yes, Jeremy, it is okay for you to call me at midnight when you get off. That will be more than fine. I'm fine with that. So that's great. All right. Moving on from there, we are now going to get into the MRC stuff. And before we get into the MRC stuff, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and get that out of the way, and then we will get in to the meeting. You guys sit tight. We will be right back, and we will start taking a look at what's going on in the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting from today, held this morning at 9 a.m., Thursday, June 18th. Charlie, June 18th, 2026. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So it's time for us to talk about the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting that occurred today. And man, I tell you, that's the reason I titled the episode, the reason I titled it what it was. Attitudes, not access. What's really happening here? And I got to be honest, I was blown away by some of this. I mean, there's no yelling or screaming. It's not like a Bilbrey and Audi type of a meeting. There's no chaos, but the meeting, from my opinion, was like low key off the chain because of some things that happened. So I can't wait for you guys to see this. We're not going to watch everything. We're going to fast forward through some things. The meeting is only an hour and 24 minutes long. I would recommend, if you live in the Muncie area, that you go back through and watch the entire meeting. But we're going to hit a majority of the high points. So just so you know, we're not going to miss anything crazy. But we're going to go ahead and get started here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a wild ride. First thing, straight off the bat, first thing I noticed when I start watching this thing is council members are avoidance experts. Absolutely, Jackie. That's exactly right. On the police department, we used to call that RAT, report avoidance technique. And that's how you got out of writing a report. The RAT technique, the RAT, the report avoidance technique. They are email avoidance. It's like email avoidance technique is what they're doing. Alva says a boring meeting. No, Alva. All right. So Alva says boring. Let's see if you listening to what I say here changes your mind, because I don't think this was a boring meeting. I think that a lot happened here. First thing I notice is there's only 3 of them. So they have just barely have made a quorum because it's a 5-person board. So it means in order for them to meet, they need to at least have 3 of them. It's my opinion that they probably should, in anytime they have a situation like this, they should probably call it and hold a special meeting like next week. There's no reason they needed to meet today. They could have pushed everything to next Thursday and called a special meeting when they had a full panel back. I just don't like the idea of having these 3 jokers there because, first off, I mean, you could have one of these people. These 3 people is basically hive mind. All 3 of them there are the same person. It doesn't matter. And, you know, they're all part of the same nonsense. So that's the first thing I noticed. All right, here we go.
Forward with the with the approval of the previous meeting memorandum, and Mr. Rawlings and Mr. Lowe are absent.
What's funny to me is
the agenda. I don't know if
that, you know, what's funny to me is.
All right, good morning. I want to welcome you to the June 18th, 2026.
They don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't do any of that. I've never really noticed that this board doesn't do that. It's because they got to get back to work. They don't care about, you know.
Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting. I will now call this meeting to order, and we will go ahead and take roll.
I disagree.
Mr. Miller,
Alva, again, I disagree with you, and you'll hear why. Alva says it's because this meeting went as expected. No. I'll say this. I don't think it went as expected. I actually expected some different things, and I think I saw and heard some very unexpected things. I'll point those out. But here we go.
Mr. Probilla. Here. Ms. Wagley.
Yes.
And Mr. Bishop and Mr. Rawlings and Mr. Lowe are absent. Go ahead and look at the agenda. I don't know if there are any additions, questions, concerns. If not, I will take a motion.
I will make a motion to utilize the agenda as presented.
That's right, Space Cat.
Okay, we'll just do voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Mr. Wright, we'll move forward with the, with the approval of the previous meeting memoranda. That should be in your packets as well. Are there any questions or concerns?
That's probably a good point for me to pause this just for 1 second. And I'm going to give you a description of put their agenda up here. So this is the agenda for today. Okay. Their agenda on this meeting was as seen below here, or onto the side. Call to order, roll call, agenda, approval of the previous meeting memoranda, claims, report from the city. Now look at this. Report from the city, Jeff Howe, financial position updates. Financial position updates. Other business. Property acquisitions, disposals, transfers. Facade grant. Muncie Downtown Development, Muncie Land Bank Update, public comment. And now look what it says on there. And I've always got a problem with this. Public comment limited to items before the MRC per this agenda, 2 minutes each speaker. Okay. Again, I don't know that they can do that. I think good luck trying to stop me or anyone else from speaking. And we've got 2 minutes. You can sit there and listen to speak about anything for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? The 2 minute deadline timeline is ridiculous. And the fact that they try to say that we can stop you from talking about what you want to talk about, we are limiting it to the items on the... Look, there's nothing on the agenda, you asshole. All right. Then commissioners' comments, and they also wrote limited to the items before the MRC, and they did that because Andrew Dale had been on the board, and they didn't like him talking. And then the adjournment. Okay, so we'll go ahead.
Concerns?
Move to approve as is.
Second.
Okay, we'll do another voice vote on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Now, Mr. Wright, you can do the claims.
Good morning. I sent out the claims yesterday a little bit after noon, and just wanted to make note that there were several bond payments on these claims, and we also had some facade grants that were paid out. And on a fun note, we do have the payment for the new Christmas tree that is going downtown at Cannon Commons. Thank Shareen for that. She was spearheaded that. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions you might have.
That Christmas tree came in under budget too, right?
Yeah.
What we originally allocated. Yeah, that's nice. Barely, but it came in under budget. That's good. Okay. Any questions or comments on the claims?
I'm just excited to see some of the facade grant stuff get completed and paid out, and I'm starting to make a difference with that with people.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we're getting a lot more requests for information on that as well. So I think the word is spreading more.
Absolutely. I'll take a motion on the claims. If somebody has
Make a
one.
motion to accept. the claims
Ironically,
as
Admiral,
Voice vote again.
it
All
doesn't
in
take
favor
a
say
whole lot
aye.
of money.
Aye.
Listen, it's not that. What it needs is we need to get them to push the envelope. I go before these boards. They just don't ever push it to actually have me arrested. They back down. What we need to have. So here's what I don't like. They scare the common folk into submission. But then every once in a while, I will go and to something like this and push back against them, and they'll just adjourn the meeting, or they end up letting me talk. They don't actually have the guts to stand up. What I want them to do is, I guess I'm going to need to go to the MRC meet. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and go. I really just hate being in the same room with Jeff and Isaac, but I'm going to have to bite the bullet and go fight, because I think if I went to a couple meetings, by the second or third meeting, they would probably have me arrested. And then that's when you could take the step to do what you needed to do. I'll take that fight on. They've got to be willing to stick to their guns on it and have me arrested, they have to violate my rights for me to be able to sue them.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Howe, go ahead with the financial update.
Okay.
You'll get an update on the financial position at a later time. Mayor Ridenour, I'm on contract. I don't have access to the city's computer system, so Mayor Ridenour, how he's prepared that. So we'll have that at the next meeting. So
that's fine.
Okay. Listen, I want everybody to stop doing what you're doing for a minute, because I know sometimes you watch, but people don't really watch. You're doing things and playing with things. I want everybody to go back and I'm going to go back and let you hear what this guy said. So remember, on the agenda I showed you, there's a point on the agenda where they said there's a the financial positions, and we're going to, that's the thing that they're going to look at. Okay. I want you to listen to what this man says when he gets up here at the podium and starts, choking it out. Listen to what he says.
Mayor Ridenour.
Okay.
You'll get an update on the financial position at a later time. Mayor Ridenour, I'm on contract. I don't have access to the city's computer system. So Mayor Ridenour.
You will get an update on the financial prospects, where we are financially. You'll get an update on that a little bit later, meaning like next month, okay? And then he goes on to say, because Mayor Ridenour is normally who provides those to me, and he's dealing with something, so he'll have to, we'll have to deal with that later. This man, currently as he stands here, is the Muncie Redevelopment Commission director. Forget all of the other horse shit. On May 21st, they signed a contract which gives him further scope. They want him to be looking in on things, strategic oversight, and have grander powers to do all of these things that no one knows what they are. On May 29th, he was sworn in as the deputy mayor of the city. Forget the acting mayor stuff. He's the MRC director. He should have access to the financials of the MRC, but he doesn't. Then on the 29th of May, he was made the deputy mayor of the city of Muncie. But you're telling me as the deputy mayor, he doesn't have access? Now, forget about the MRC director and the deputy mayor for a minute.
Hold on here.
Yep.
He attributes it to him being a contract employee.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Amber has access to all that, and she's a contract employee, and same with Wagley.
Yep.
So what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Not a damn thing.
Right. Why? There's all kinds of different ways to look at this here. So we'll come back, and because Kate brought up a great point, and we'll look at that. That brings me to another argument here in a second I'll look at. But MRC director, he should have access to this stuff. But okay, for whatever reason, he's contract employee as an MRC director, so he doesn't. But then they increased his power on the 21st, just as MRC director, but he still didn't get access to it. All right, let's put that into one basket and close it up. But on May 29th, he was made the deputy mayor of the city. Why doesn't he then have access to all of this on May 29th? But now let's put that in a basket and close it up. Let's not worry about it. At midnight on Monday, June 1st, 2026, this man became the mayor of Muncie because he is the acting mayor. All right. As the acting mayor, he has all power, authority, and duties that Dan Ridenour currently has. There is no difference between this man and Dan Ridenour. They are the same power, have the same authority. And he does not have access to the city of Muncie, to the network, to the computers. First and foremost, how in the hell is that real? Secondly, So the current acting mayor as deputy mayor is a contract employee? That's interesting. That's weird. It almost seems like it's a problem and it shouldn't be right. But now that brings us to my question of, well, wait a minute. Like Kate said, Amber has it. Matt Wagley has it. Does Dustin Clark have it? That's exactly right.
Dustin should have it because Dustin is writing grants for the city.
Yeah, right.
So he needs access to the computers.
Yeah.
And he's a contract employee.
Yeah.
There's no reason a contract employee cannot have access to a computer. You give them their own login. It's not rocket science.
Ray had it. Yeah. Police. Yeah. Obviously, if you're any city employee, this dude is in charge of the city of Muncie, and he can't get into the computer system. And he knew he was coming to this meeting. Why didn't he have Shareen get him into it? Why didn't he have Amber get him into it? Why did this man not have access to the things that needed to be?
Because
should he
be
the mayor?
Never been the MRC director.
Yeah,
that's exactly. Script reader and a seat holder.
That's exactly right. That's exactly correct. He should not be where he's at. He should not be in the position over the MRC. He shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be the deputy mayor, and he shouldn't be the acting mayor. And yes, Adam Leach is also contract. Most of Dan's administration is contract. The majority of them are. The only two people that aren't Gretchen Cheeseman's not contract. The HR director, who is either there or not there, is having some mental breakdown. She's not contract. And the police chief and the fire chief, they're not contract. But he's got a lot of contract people working under him. That's exactly right. Dan gave Jeff the bullet points to read at the MRC, gave him basic. We've said that all along, that he's not the one doing this. It's Dan. Dan is coming up with his talking points. This is absolutely laughable. When I heard this, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
This man has supposedly been the director of the MRC for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Providing them financials, giving reports, all these things. And he has been able to do it without access to the computers?
Yeah. How is that possible?
Because he's not doing the job. It's not hard to figure out.
Yep.
And contract employees are paid out of the edit.
Yes, they're paid out of edit. The slush fund, edit. Yes, sir. Yes, they are. Absolutely. Paid from it. Listen. I just couldn't believe it. I cannot believe it. And you know what? I've not heard I've heard 3 people bitch about this today. I heard somebody, a man that I talked to earlier, and I cannot release his name. Jackie Fisher messaged us and posted about it on the Political Spotlights Facebook page. And another person, but I can't remember who it was. For the life of me, that's crazy. Anyways, I've only heard 3 people bitch about this. Everybody in the city should be going crazy about this. This should be a problem. The council should be upset. He's a straw man. Absolutely. This is a big deal. All he does is read Dan's notes. And that's that's all we say. But the fact that he literally said he cannot get into the computer, he has no access to the city's computers, that is wild. This chaos reflects poorly on Mayor Ridenour. Ding, 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 ding. I couldn't have said it better myself. I could not have expected that. It's not that he doesn't have notes, because he goes over a speech. It's he didn't have the financials. That's what I think is wild, is that he doesn't have access, because it's not even, look, I don't give a shit about his position as MRC director. I'm talking about him being in the role as deputy mayor and acting mayor. The fact that this man doesn't have access to the city of Muncie's computer systems calls all of that into question. Wild, absolutely wild to me.
I always prepared that. So we'll have that at the next meeting. So.
That's fine.
Why? Why will we have it at the next meeting? Dan's not going to be there at the next meeting. Why will we have it?
Feeling better in a month and might be able to get into the computer from home and send it to him.
That's very good possibility. Very, very good possibility.
As updates go, so a few of those. The project at the Point, we met yesterday to review design and site layout considerations. Parking lot has been installed. Actually, I was down here. We had some storm damage in the city last week, so I was down here over the weekend and saw a number of people getting their picture taken on the new sign over there. That was kind of fun to see people.
It's not fine.
So
why is that fine? It is not fine.
Project out how it's laid out currently.
It's insane.
It's going to be 50 units, and it's going to consist of a mix of studio, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments and commercial on the first floor. I did check with them yesterday again to make sure that I wasn't missing something. They do not have a contract with the commercial tenant or a letter of interest. They believe, or a letter of intent. They believe they will be there soon, but it has not been determined yet. So that's straight from the developer. So just want you to know that. Mason Ridge, if you've not visited the site recently, there is significant progress on the ground moving and site work. The final home models for the development have not yet been finalized. I've received inquiries, and in fact, I think Mr. Probella has received inquiries as well about people interested in buying out there. Of course, we won't be involved in that. I was going to direct them to the developer. The developer says it's too early yet, so they won't be entertaining any of those conversations. But we did. We do have some interest, so we're looking forward to that. And likewise, the Sportsplex, met with them to talk about the Sportsplex. It's moving a bit slow through the planning phase, primarily due to the financial feasibility challenges that are faced. And we've talked about this before in a number of neighborhoods.
Yep, you're right, Alva.
Construct what the market value is, especially in places where there are either low or no comparable sales. So they're looking at how they might phase that in and maybe go in hubs, and there'll be a spectrum of, maybe starter homes, maybe retirement homes, and do it in phases. So we're still working on that. We'll be meeting with them again in the not too distant future to work through some of that. But still very interested. They're just trying to figure out what makes the most sense. Because as you know, that side of town, there probably haven't been much in the way of comparable sales out there. And
none of this makes sense.
The wireless communications tower, I don't know if we've previously shared this, but the project encountered some delays. The property was located near a creek and therefore in flood area. As a result, normally the way they construct these towers, they put the tower up, they put a fence around it. Well, the DNR didn't want a fence around it because it would be a place for debris to collect and get hung up in the fence. So they've redesigned the tower. The DNR has signed off on it. The city engineer has signed off on the design. So we believe that'll move forward here soon, and we'll be able to put that property to use quite lucratively considering its value. Whiteley, developer.
Not to my knowledge, Charlie's.
Is much like that of the Sportsplex, encountering some financial feasibility challenges, comparable sales.
Good question.
It's difficult to justify some of the.
You know what, Wayne? He's not getting his information. This is all, as Alva's stating, this is all recycled shit from last month when he spoke, or the last couple months. Basically, this is nothing new. Oops, sorry. Sorry. I don't know what happened there. This is basically nonsense. What he's doing here. There's no new information with this, and that's the problem with what's happening. This is just recycled horse shit. So that's what sucks about this.
Cost. We did talk about what the other options might be. Constructing rental properties there. But the developer has also expressed some concerns that the rents in the area may not support the construction. So we don't know that that's going to move forward. Hasn't been concluded for sure, but I don't think it's going to meet their threshold for acceptability. So, and that can't remember how many lots that was. It wasn't a big project, but, and then I met with the Whiteley Community Council representative a couple days ago. And, we're going to sit down with them again and talk about, kind of what they want to have out there. I've had some visits with some folks representing them about some projects that we don't have site control. We can't do those things. So, we'll continue to visit with them. Went on a plant tour yesterday with a local company here in town, and they're looking at an expansion, probably about $10 million investment. Biggest share of that is equipment. Interestingly, we were talking about the demographics of the workforce. I think they said there were, my memory serves me, which doesn't always, probably somewhere around 180 people. They said the workforce is probably about 50% of them in Delaware County. So it goes back to what we talked about before, commuters coming in and having a place for people to live. But we were kind of excited about that. It was nice to be able to get in the plant. I was involved in the financing of it years ago when I was a fairly young banker, and it's changed quite a bit, but it's been successful. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's probably all I have as far as updates on existing projects. So
very interesting
today. Okay. You also have any property transfers, anything along those lines today, Mr. Howe?
I do. I have two. The Proud Street, 507 South Proud, was a project a property that came up in last week's meeting. In fact, I took a little bit of a beating for that. But I figured out
I want you to listen to this.
Where the disconnect was. Because I have been working with Intend on their agreement to do that development. And there are 34 homes for renovations and 30 builds. And I put together the agreement with a list of 30 properties on which to build. I was told that we needed another property. And what I was struggling with is the people who were going to build them wasn't asking for it. And I couldn't get 30 plus 1 to equal 30. And apparently what I found out that it's not 30 plus 1, it's 29, because one of the properties that were on the project to start with had been sold. So that being the case, me now knowing that, I think it's appropriate that we put that in the hands of either the land bank or Intend, whichever makes sense from our perspective, so they can complete that project. Because like I say, those properties probably should have all been locked down
beforehand, before
the Ready Grant documentation was signed.
Do you have any preference on who we transfer 507 South Proud to? Do you care if it's land bank or Intend?
I don't. I was gonna see if we can get approval to do it and have Mr. Freeman give us guidance on which is the easiest way for us to get that done.
Mr. Freeman, do you have any thoughts, sir?
Thoughts on the approval
Alva,
itself?
tell me what you're saying there.
Well, yes.
Sir,
do you think it'd be better for us to transfer it to the land bank to get it to Intend, or give it directly to Intend?
I'm assuming just direct to Intend, right? Just to skip the step. Does it?
I guess I don't have enough knowledge on the underlying transaction itself, but I mean, we can approve it today and then discuss.
Okay.
Intend is the developer.
Intend is the builder. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, developer.
And they want it as a part of the.
So we'd just be passing through the land bank to Intend.
And the land project itself that you're discussing is something that we've already given land to, or?
We have, and the grant that was submitted by the land bank was originally declined. So we rolled it into a grant that we had for the Ready To. So the Ready To.
This is who's leading Muncie right now. This is the man that Ridenour said, when I'm not here, I want this man to lead the city of Muncie.
I have a problem. They wrote those properties into that grant.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to get this fixed now or they'll lose it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why he's talking himself in circles, because he doesn't want to admit that.
Yeah, he's got to be
up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We screwed up. We sold one of the properties that's listed in that grant.
Yeah.
And if we don't unfuck it, we lose
We're
money.
in trouble. Yeah. Yeah. They play really fast and loose with laws around grants all the time in the city of Muncie. I don't know how they haven't got themselves in. It has been a miracle of God that they haven't got themselves in trouble. And yeah, you know, and these people are bankers, man. They know just enough evilness to pull. That's what's going on.
Money that we were approved. We had 3.5 for across the street, and then 3.7 or something like that. That we actually added into our grant to get the Old West End built. So it's in that grant. We received the grant. We have a subrecipient agreement with Intend.
See?
Okay.
And everybody thinks that he's like kind of stupid because he's stammering around and kind of talking gibberish and whatnot. He's not. He's stumbling and stammering because he's trying to figure out what not to say because he doesn't want to give away too much. That's how this man always talks. When I was talking to my grandparents, I was trying to explain to my grandpa who this man was because he couldn't remember right off the top, and he was like, which one is he? I said, he's the man in the meetings that you're like, God, this guy in these meetings. My grandpa hates watching this guy in this meetings because of all the same reason all of us get mad. And I'm like, he's the guy in the meeting that stammers around because he doesn't ever want to say anything. Absolutely. I can see why he hasn't been trusted with a computer system. And, because we're not even talking about this, but this is probably as good a point as any to stop and to highlight this. Charlize asked about the situation concerning the Sportsplex, okay? Because this body deals with this. They talk about it. He brought Sportsplex up, and although we're not dealing with this in this meeting, we might as well talk about it because why not, okay? You know what I mean? It is what it is, okay? So let's take a look at the Sportsplex just really quickly. Here's Beacon. This is Beacon, all right? And if we go here really quickly, we go into the Sportsplex. All right, the Sportsplex is here highlighted. And if we click on this, that's the Sportsplex, it says it is currently owned by East Central Indiana Community Development. This back section is also owned by East Central Indiana Community Development. That's interesting. Well, we'll click on that and we'll go look at the report here. And let's go down here and read see what this says, okay? Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is interesting. So, Sports and Hobby Development of Muncie had it, okay? Delaware Advancement Corporation bought it for $758,362. And then the Greater Muncie Economic Development Corporation. Oh, that's interesting. Greater Muncie Economic Development Corporation. That's interesting. They got it in 2024. Hey, Kate. can you do me a favor really quickly? Can you go on the Indiana Business Lookup and look up who Greater Muncie Economic Development Corporation is? Greater Muncie Economic Development, because I looked up who currently holds it. All right. I looked up who currently holds it, East Central Indiana. And in case you guys haven't remembered or you forgot since last time we dealt with all of this, I'll click you over here and let you see this. The owner, the registered agent, the CEO, the incorporator of ECI Community Development Corporation is none other than Bill Walters. You know who Bill Walters is? Everybody know who Bill Walters is? Bill Walters is the new Bradley Bookout. Bradley Bookout is on the Delaware County Council. He used to be the guy that does this. Now that he's there, William Walters is the new him. So he's who currently has the Sportsplex.
Give me that name again.
Okay. It all sounds like shell companies. That's exactly right. It is Greater Muncie Economic Development Corporation.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, Elizabeth Roway.
Elizabeth Roway.
Mm-hmm. As the incorporator and the president.
Who, in case you guys don't know, is a state representative. You want to talk about how gross that is?
There's the screenshot of that search, Christopher.
You send it over to me. Okay, so just to be clear, Sports and Hobby Development of Muncie had it, and that was a whole big thing. Okay, that was a whole scam. Then it went to Delaware Advancement Corp, that whole mystery organization, DAC, that Elizabeth Roway used to be connected to. Then it went to Greater Muncie Economic Development Corporation, which is Elizabeth Roway. And then from there, it went to Bill Walters. So here's Elizabeth Roway. Okay. And then from there, it went to Bill Walters, who's on the screen there. So no, D.R. Horton currently has not closed on this. It's still in the hands of Bill Walters. How much money will he and his organization make off of that? It's so gross. It's absolutely insane that stuff goes on. But we just looked at it right there, folks. Okay, we'll continue on here.
I mean, I guess what I would recommend for today would be that we approve the transfer. I'm going to need to do a little bit of research on what exactly we can do. So I would say we approve the transfer to be through the land bank, or to be through intend if possible, but otherwise through the land bank for them to facilitate it.
Just cover our bases.
And then, and then I can figure out which we're able to do or what's the easiest, and then we can go that route.
And Mr. Freeman and I haven't had a chance to talk this week, so we're catching him off guard a little bit. So I thought we'd get approval to do it, and he'll help us determine the smoothest path to get to that end.
Sure. Okay. Do I have a motion to that effect from anybody?
Yes, I'll make a motion to transfer 507 South Proud to either Intend or the Land Bank for the Old West End Ready project.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All right. Mr. Miller, yes. Mr. Probilla,
yes.
And Ms. Wagley.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Any other ones, Mr. Howe?
I do. 1912 East Memorial. This property was
Now let's listen to this. All right. This is so interesting to me. What was the address he just gave there? What was the address he gave there? Let's listen.
Mr. Miller, yes. Mr. Probilla,
Yes.
and Ms. Wagley.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Any other ones, Mr. Howe?
I do. 1912 East Memorial. This property has been in the MRC's name for the last 10 years. It was sold in 2020 on the condition.
1912 East Memorial. Okay. That's interesting. So let's listen to what they do here to 1912 East Memorial.
That it be repaired. I think it was an unsafe property. However, when the home was repaired, there was still some property taxes due, and the city didn't deed it to the person to whom it had been sold. So it has been in the MRC's name with a family living in it for the last
6 years.
6 years. I see no reason for that. We are not the taxing authority. I don't know why we would want to be an owner on that property and assume the potential liabilities of being an owner on that property with a family living in it. So I'm requesting that we put it in the name of the people who bought it from us, and they'll deal with the taxing authority in the manner in which it is.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We certainly don't want the liability. Yeah, and we're not the taxing authorities. So.
I did have the property inspected. I think they did it last week or the week before last, and it is safe. Okay. So I wanted to make sure it was safe.
And you had told me, I think when we've had previous discussions, he had brought the home like up to code, and he'd fixed a bunch of things and done what he was supposed to do. It's just the transfer didn't happen.
And that was a discussion with him, but I did ask for an inspection just to be sure that it was a safe home for them to live in.
Okay. I will make a motion that we transfer 1912 East Memorial to the current residence, I guess is the proper term.
Yeah.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay.
Did you look up this property, Christopher?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're so listen, everyone's you're all on the right path. You're all on the right path. This slipped by for 6 years, and we've had it, and good Lord, there could have been crazy liability there, and who knows what was going on. Someone was living in it. It's been in the city, the MRCs, blah, 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 okay? 1912, all right, and they talk about it, and they all agree. Everybody's all on it. Listen, let's go back and listen to this real quick. So we're at 1510. We're just going to go back to 1504. Listen.
Fence, I guess, is the proper term.
Yeah.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Miller, yes. Mr. Probilla?
Yes.
Ms. Wagley?
Yes.
Wonderful. Any other ones, Jeff?
So wait, what did they do? Listen again.
Things and done what he was supposed to do. It's just the transfer didn't happen.
And that was the discussion with him, but I did ask for an inspection just to be sure that it was a safe home for them to live in.
Okay. I will make a motion that we transfer 1912 East Memorial to the current residence, I guess is the proper term.
Yeah.
You know, they're playing around with 1912 East Memorial. They're playing around with that. 6 years it's been going on. Okay, six years. 1912 East Memorial, and they make the motion. Listen.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Miller, yes. Mr. Probilla?
Yes.
Ms. Wagley?
Yes.
Wonderful. Any other ones?
And
I think that's all I have.
And they voted on it. And he
Mr.
thinks
Bishop isn't here
he
for the
thinks that's
facade
all he
grant.
has.
Mr. Probilla, do you have any updates at all or nothing?
I do.
today?
Okay. We'll pause there for a moment and let's go take a look at 1912 East Memorial on Beacon. Want to do that? Okay. We'll go look at 1912 East Memorial. Okay. 1912 East Memorial. Okay. We're here now. 1912 East Memorial. Wait a minute. 1912 East Memorial. That's not a City of Muncie home. City of Muncie's not on this. The MRC's not on this.
Not even DAC is on it.
Not even DAC is on it. But if you go down the way a little bit to 1904 East Memorial. You will notice there it says 1904 East Memorial is owned by the City of Muncie Redevelopment Commission. So it wasn't 1912 East Memorial. That's just some stranger's address. It was 1904, which, listen, they fix it. It's going to be fixed.
It's
no
a
big
clerical
deal.
error.
Clerical
it's so easy
error.
To switch from 04 to 12, just like we switch 5 to 29. It's fine.
And listen, this up here is everything. We shouldn't be operating like the Wild West. Jackie hit the nail on the head. This is the city of Muncie. Why are we operating like the Wild West? Timing issues, clerical errors, none of that matters. You know what I mean? Because listen, they're not doing any of this stuff to their house. They're doing it to other people. So they fix it. It's just, this is nothing. They shouldn't have even really brought this up, other than the fact it's just more ignorance. It's just more idiocy by these people.
Not they're same as today. We had people out. There was only going to be.
And
two
yes,
of us
this
that
is Steve Pribella.
did not meet this past month.
Okay, we'll move forward with Muncie Downtown Development. Amanda?
All right. Now we're going to speed through this a little bit, but I want you guys to hear this. Yeah, that's right, Kate. All right. Muncie Downtown Development. The city's had operations with them for a long time. Did a bunch of stuff with them.
She's coming up. I can go ahead and get started though before the PowerPoint comes up. But thank you for giving me the opportunity today to address the commission and talk a little bit about downtown development and make our biannual request. All right. Muncie Downtown Development is the only organization focused exclusively on downtown Muncie.
Yeah, right,
We serve as a
Kate.
public-private partner supporting downtown economic development, promotion, and collaboration. We have 2 full-time staff. That includes me as the new executive director. I started in January, and Cheryl Crowder, our events director, who has been with the organization for 25 years.
I don't know if Steve Pribella is a realtor or not. I don't know if somebody said that. Bo Steve has said Mr. Pribella, Stephen Pribella, and yes, it is Stephen Pribella. I don't know if oh, are you saying Pribella is a realtor? I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him. I know he's a Danatic, but yeah, okay, yes he is. Okay, well, that makes sense.
We also have a governing board that reflects a broad mix of institutions, businesses, and community leaders that are invested in the success of downtown. And I'm joined today by our board president, Garrett Doan from Northwest Bank, who's also serving as my AV assistant today. Next slide. I want to share a quick snapshot of downtown activity and the scale of the work in which we do. Downtown sees approximately 898,000 annual visits and generates an estimated $2.5 to $3 million in annual.
Of course, listen to me here. Can't wait until you all start electing AI. It's coming. Listen, it's 2026. You mean the city of Muncie can't figure out a way to put on screen an overlay of what she's showing them? Why can we not see what they're showing them right now? We should be able to see that.
TIF revenue. We help connect the businesses, volunteers, sponsors, and partners that contribute to a broader downtown ecosystem.
That's right, Clinton.
Our work centers around 4 core functions: economic development support, marketing and communications, community activation, and stakeholder coordination. Some of this work is visible through events and promotion, while much of it happens through referrals, data, and behind-the-scenes collaboration. One resource I particularly want to highlight is our downtown database, which tracks property, inventory, occupancy and vacancy trends, business information, ownership data, and private investment throughout downtown. The database also helps us measure activity and growth over time. For example, of the businesses that reported to Muncie Downtown, they invested more than $5 million in private building improvements during 2024 and 2025 alone.
Yeah.
This does not include public infrastructure investments made by the Muncie Sanitary District or the city's public works. And over the last decade, downtown has also averaged a net gain of approximately 5 to 7 new businesses annually. This is just one example of how we provide practical tools and information that support the redevelopment, business recruitment, and long-term planning efforts. MRC's investment helps create a platform that attracts additional private, philanthropic, and volunteer support. Muncie Downtown Development brings not only funding relationships, but also staff capacity, coordination, and partnerships and implementation support. Looking ahead, our priorities are to strengthen our downtown database. We're investing in dedicated staffing to support, to ensure that the information remains current, useful, and available. We're planning to deepen our business engagement and improve reporting and accountability. And we also want to continue growing outside funding and partnership support for downtown initiatives. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, looking ahead, our upcoming Fire Up Downtown event, which is Saturday, August 1st. It is the 5th year of the event, and last year we saw more than 17,000 people. We've added in some new activities this year, and we're partnering with the Academy of Model Aeronautics for some exciting demonstrations throughout the day and the evening, and this will complement the hot air balloons and all the other fun activities. So in closing, we respectfully request the renewal of our partnership for an additional 2-year term. This investment helps Muncie Downtown continue providing downtown coordination, marketing, activation, business management, and redevelopment support while leveraging additional grants, sponsorship, partnerships, and volunteer resources. Thank you for your partnership, your investment in downtown Muncie, and your consideration of this request. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it.
$40,000 for 2 years.
2 days before my 4th baby was born. So thanks for the good luck there. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But that was the purpose of the meeting. The purpose of the meeting was to talk about this stuff. So we talked over some of the terms. They're all the same, I think, as our usual agreement is. $40,000 every 6 months for 2 years, essentially, is the basics of it. In the contract is
$80,000 a year.
Number 3, item C, which talks about the database availability, which is something that Amanda and I talked about at length a little bit, making that available to the MRC and to Mr. Howe as our director, because that data is just useful. So I appreciate you adding that in there. And the only other question I was gonna ask if we could amend this under item number 3, item E, which talks about MDDP shall provide a financial report on MRC fund expenditures. If we could just have it in writing that update should be along the same timeline as when your compensation is sent out. So
Okay.
Essentially every 6 months.
Yep.
That would just be helpful. We have you in anyway, I feel like. So it'd just be helpful to see that financial report.
Yep.
Every 6 months or so would be useful to me. And that's the only items I had on the contract. I don't know if anybody else.
Watch what happens here, though.
Go ahead, please.
So Amanda and I have had a chance to meet as well. And I think one of the things that has been maybe overlooked for a while was the value of the database. And we did access the database. We didn't have access to it, but we were able to get some information that I was able to provide some developers that were looking at the community that helped them get comfortable with some investment here in the downtown area. So I think, and we have a number of kind of standing meetings. We meet with the folks that are developing in the downtown at the point, and that's evolved over time with different developers. But we meet every other Wednesday. Right, every other Wednesday we meet, and Amanda attends those meetings as well. Before Amanda, Vicky Beach was on that to talk about downtown and the things were happening. So we have had some recent conversations. We know what's happening at the point.
Because watch what happens
conversations about another potential 50 units in the downtown area. We think that more people downtown is what it's going to take to really get the downtown thriving, smooth out the rockiness of revenue for retailers, restaurants, and smooth those out. And that's people that can walk down for dinner on Tuesday instead of everybody trying to go on Friday night. We also know that those things will help smooth out the space usage at the convention center and will enable us to attract and gain conventions, workshops, whatever those events are for longer duration if we have more things happening downtown. And so we're competing with Fort Wayne and certainly Indianapolis and places like that. And I sit on that board as well. So I know we've been talking about how do we get the dips out of the revenue for everybody down here. So I think there's more here than I was aware of. It's probably been here. We probably haven't accessed it. And, I may have shared this with some of you before when I was in the banking business. We had things that we did that were valuable Customers didn't
Yep.
know the value was there. If you don't remind them it's there, they don't take advantage of it. You guys have the same situation. It doesn't have any value. If they don't know it's there, they don't use it. And I think we kind of probably were in that boat too. We probably weren't fully accessing the information that was available to us.
Sure.
So just wanted you to know that our conversation was positive as well and enlightening about some things that would be helpful for us.
Yeah, that's great. Any other discussion items?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Wagley.
I've made this known throughout my time on this board that I do not pass things that I haven't seen ahead of time. So I haven't had a chance to read this. There's a room full of people and 6-8 pages here to look at, 4, I guess. So I have no doubt that this will probably pass, but I won't be voting for it because 1, I haven't seen it. 2, I've never seen this database either and have no idea what we're being asked to pay $40,000 for a database that might say in here what's in it. So
I have never heard her say that.
you go ahead. I just wanted you to know.
I
It's
didn't
not
know
that I don't
she could
support
read.
downtown. I've paid for a lot of things. I do all the management of Cannon Commons and all the events that happen downtown. So, I mean, I work with you guys all the time.
She does.
but
I thought Amber
just-
Green did
I
that.
don't
That's
like to pass
interesting.
things
I
I
want to
haven't
find
looked
out
at
who does
and-
what.
or
That I
someone
bet.
maybe
I bet that
knows
pissed
about
Amber Green
being asked.
off.
Just a point of clarification, and Amanda, you can say whatever you'd like. So we're not, just so we're clear, we're not paying the $40,000 every 6 months for access to the database. I just want that to be clear. We're paying,
Correct.
this is a partnership agreement that we've had. You know this because you've been here with me.
Yes.
We've had this longstanding, and I believe, I mean, I can attest that this is basically all the same language outside of the one thing I just asked for an amendment on. But I think the $40,000 every 6 months is more so I would call it a supportive fund of what MDDP does generally for economic development and downtown.
And I
in
listen.
the short,
I've
long
been
term.
hearing
And I
from
think
sources in City Hall for about the last 2 years that there's been a big pissing match going on between the city of Muncie and Diamond Dallas Page or whatever DDP, whatever that is, downtown Muncie Development, whatever. What I hate acronyms like that. Anyways, there's been some kind of pissing match going on, and this is weird. This is weird.
Once you guys start providing us a financial report every 6 months, that will be nice from my perspective because I get asked about this funding agreement, I think more than anything we do at MRC, which is very funny to me. So then we can kind of point to where the dollars are landing. I think in the past you've used it for staffing, in the past you've used it for events, all sorts of things. So I just want to be clear, we're not just paying for access to a database.
Nope.
Having access to the database, I think, is a huge plus, in my opinion. Having worked with some similar products kind of in my own professional life, similar to what this database is, it's very useful, I think. So it's just a nice bonus in the agreement, is what I wanted to clarify. Go ahead, Amanda. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you just stated. And I really see these dollars as more operational than anything. So like you said, the database kind of folds into that. And in one of the slides earlier, I think I shared, it's about $220,000 a year to put on our 4 signature events and then to do the year-round marketing that we do as well. So that alone you can see is just a significant cost. So the $80,000 annually is a huge lift and help in that way. And then just to clarify,
This was weird.
I just updated the dates. Like I didn't even update any wording. So it is the same as the extension from 2 years ago.
Yeah. My question
I was
also
shocked
is,
by this.
do you need this approved this month today, or will you have a gap if it is not approved? Or
There will not be a gap because it's for 27,
It's for the
28.
27, 28,
Yep.
right,
So
Okay. Well, I mean, just for clarity's sake, we do have to have a 3-0 vote for anything to pass today because we're short our other members who aren't here today. So I don't know if you guys want to make a motion or if we want to table this until next month. If Ms. Wagley, if we have not enticed you to vote in favor of it today, I would suggest we approve it today. But if we want to table it, we can do that as well. So it's
I
totally
would
up
make
to
a
you guys.
motion to table.
Okay. There is a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Weird.
Sure. I'll second.
Okay.
It's gonna be interesting to see
All
what
right.
happens at the next meeting.
Mr. Howe, any other thoughts?
It'll be
Any
really
other
interesting.
comments?
I'm really going to be interested in watching
Look at
this.
it and think about it, and we can chat more about it from my perspective. I'm sure Amanda would be happy to clarify things too, but I think we'll be comfortable.
Okay. Yeah, that'll give us time to add that amendment into my little point too. Okay. There's a motion and a second. Mr. Miller, yes. Mr. Verbilla,
yes.
And Ms. Wagley.
Yes.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Howard with the land bank.
All right, we're gonna fast forward through this because this is always just kind of a pissing match between the city of Muncie and the land bank for whatever
Good morning.
nonsense
Ray Howard
reason.
from Muncie Land Bank. Before I do a quick update, just a few points of clarifications and a few questions.
Listen to this.
So the land bank, we gave 36 properties to the Ready Project.
Listen to this.
And there
Before
were
we do.
2 of those that were outside the core area that were slated. They were houses slated to be demolished. And so we actually acquired property on South Council, right where the heart of the development is, and then asked our board and intend and the city mayor if we could switch those out for those properties that were vacant lots and save those houses that were, again, were slated to be demolished. One of those was 913 West Kilgore that we sold and is now, I think there's been about $100,000 of investment in that's been saved, turned into a house that people can live in. And then 509 West Adams was the other that we have a developer
Absolutely,
that bought
Charlize.
that in, I think, February, and has, about a year or so to get something done there. And we're following up on that and making sure that happens. If it doesn't, then we have recourse to take that back. But that's just a clarification. 2 questions I have. Jeff mentioned the Whiteley properties and the feasibility, and I'm just wondering if we had also asked for those properties, and the response was that there's a deal potentially, and just asking if that's still on the table as an alternative. If that doesn't work out, that we could potentially acquire those properties as part of our partnership there in Whiteley.
Sure.
And then 2, this is we signed an MOU with the MRC back in the late summer, early fall of 2024. And there was mention in there about I think it's called the Allen on Kilgore, a new housing development that was done by TWG. Potentially, there's some pilot funding that could be assigned to the land bank. It was $30,000 over the course of 15 years, or 30 each year, with an increasing percentage, which I think is just the pilot policies, whatever. Just wanted to put that out there. Doesn't need to be anything that we decide today, but just remind that was something that we remember. And so yeah, now quickly get into my update. I don't know if you want to talk.
I'm
questions?
just curious.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So on the pilot, this is your second item, the pilot
Yeah.
thing. Are you saying that the MRC owes you funds from those, or
No.
you're going to make a request
No.
that you want to?
The city, part of the agreement was that the mayor was going to assess that possibility
Yeah.
when that project was finished.
I remember this now. Okay. So it's been a minute since I've read
We,
it. So.
Yeah.
there is a, I don't know if this is, there is a requirement on the pilot that it be used certain ways. We at that time proposed an agreement that we would pass that pilot along to Land Bank, who would use those funds in compliance with those, but the pilot hasn't been paid yet. So we approved doing that. So I don't know there's a decision to be made. It's just a matter of it being executed upon. Once the pilot pays, it'll pass through, and then the Land Bank. It's been a while, but I think we have an agreement that's signed by both parties. If not, we'll have to do that. But the Land Bank then will do the things that are required under the pilot requirements, so that the receipt of pilot funds are used in the way they're supposed to be used. So yeah, but like I say, it hadn't paid anything yet.
And it's all based, I can't remember to say exactly, but it's all based on when that property starts paying taxes. So it has to be, I mean, they just had their opening.
Mhm.
So then it has to be assessed, and then you pay taxes in arrears. So I can't remember off the top of my head if it was 27 or 28 that.
It's a payment in lieu of taxes, but you're right. Yeah,
Right,
but it'd be
yeah,
when it gets
but it's
paid.
when it gets paid.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's been long enough.
It's
Now
like
I remember
27
the
or
framing of it,
28,
but I don't remember the details and
That's a
bullets.
reminder.
But I think there's time to kind of figure that
Yeah,
out.
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can look into it.
Okay. And then your first question, so I'm going in reverse order, was the Whiteley development. I think there's been some emails back and forth. Jeff, I don't know if you have an update on that or not.
But we talked about that just a minute ago.
Yeah.
We haven't concluded that yet, but I don't think the developer, my sense is the developer that I talked to is probably not going to move forward.
Okay.
If that's the case, then I don't have anybody else at this point that would want to do that. So I would say it would be available, but I want to make sure that's concluded yet, because if they're going to do it, they would do it soon.
Yeah.
And time is kind of important.
Listen to this.
Great.
Does that answer your
Thank you. Yeah,
I wanna
appreciate
speak
both
again.
those. Yeah,
Good.
responses. Yeah, and just thank you, Jeff, for following up on 507 and working that out. Like I said last month, and we've served that role. We can continue to serve that role. However, if you all want to do that directly with intent on this property, that's okay by us. We upon approval by our board meeting tomorrow, we're selling 314 East Myrtle to a local developer and adjacent owner.
Yes.
This is something that
Hey.
the neighborhood has endorsed.
Yes.
And the use would be a single family home for sale. It's a vacant lot, but that's the plans. And some formal settings potentially with some of the governmental administrative units. In the future, we're still sharpening
you
that up.
listen to this.
Planning.
Wait,
There's a
so
lot
let's hear
that could
it.
be done. Holding property is not necessarily, from the perspective of land bank, a negative thing.
Yeah. Listen.
We are not going to have a first Friday in July. And
Right here.
yeah, I would just say a little point of clarity again, the land bank, our world is holding properties. That's what we're created to do, was to hold properties that nobody wants, and try to reduce blight. So us holding property is not necessarily, from the perspective of land bank, a negative thing. We also move in the world of pre-development. So, that's a process. That's the process that we engage in the Old West End. That's what we're doing in Whiteley and industry right now.
That's why Jeff doesn't like them.
Area where we're slowly,
because they want someone to get the property, build it, and,
neighborhood stakeholders,
and sometimes
developing
it don't
plans,
work like that.
partnerships, looking for funding.
I get it. I get that you'd rather have
is
that, but sometimes land
meeting the
make
needs that arise out of those
important.
conversations.
That's exactly right.
Offering something
that's it right there.
Quality, and that the neighborhood can get behind.
So I think that was interesting.
We're
All
not.
right,
We're
moving
not
forward here.
Our job is.
Okay, here is where I believe they start fixing the
And your prior
1904.
approval to make sure that it's stated that the actual transfer is 1904 East Memorial.
Or East Memorial, and that'll be reflected in our minutes.
And that's the one that we took action on to transfer to the homeowner's bin.
Correct. If you could, just for the minutes, could you go ahead and move to amend your prior approval to make sure that it's stated that the actual transfer is 1904?
Dad,
East
you're
Memorial,
exactly
not
right.
1912.
Yeah.
And again, it's not because what they're talking about is disjointed, convoluted, and unintelligent. It's because they are attempting to say the things that need to be said without saying things they don't want said. There's a difference. They're trying to work around things that they don't want to say in public always. That's why it seems so disjointed like that.
I will make that motion that we amend that action to reflect 1904 East Memorial.
Whoopsie. And I,
Ms. Wagley.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to say this.
I've clarified it now.
That's crazy that they, again, it's just a little accident, but how many little accidents do these people continue to have before we say literally everything they do is a little accident? It's all one big accident.
Okay, we'll move forward
That's
with
right,
public
Kate.
comment. Each speaker has 2 minutes each, limited to items before the MRC agenda. Mr. Freeman, I think there's a sign-up sheet. Would you mind to grab
Here
that?
we go.
I made it up.
This is where it gets exciting.
I don't know where it
It makes it
came
easier if we have a lot of people I don't know names. If I can read it. Thank you. Got my pen back too. That's nice. Bruce Rector. Thank you.
I'm Bruce Rector, president of the McKinley Live Learn Neighborhood Association, and have been president since 2020. From a historical perspective, I was born in Muncie. I started kindergarten at McKinley Elementary School. I returned to the McKinley neighborhood in the late 60s while I attended Ball State University. I returned to the neighborhood in 1985 and have been here ever since. As president of the McKinley Neighborhood Association, I've been very pleased with Mayor Ridenour and his administration's efforts to help revitalize the McKinley neighborhood. It was at the McKinley Live Learn PMT meeting in April that he shared for the first time plans for new Eckert development on Columbus Avenue. I was initially supportive of the project. However, a few weeks after that, I became aware of the specifics of the proposed project and realized the permanent impact it would have along Columbus Avenue. I am no longer supportive and in opposition to the project as presented by the mayor and the plans associated with the construction permits that have been issued. Around 2020, Vanderwall and Associates developed a master plan for the revitalization of the McKinley neighborhood that was presented to the McKinley PMT. The plans included specific densities for buildings. The mayor also hired Vanderwall and Associates to design guidelines to show a vision for McKinley Avenue. The master plan and design guidelines were recently adopted by the McKinley Neighborhood Association. The proposed new Eckert buildings do not meet the master plan nor the guidelines. Furthermore, the location for the buildings will create an area on the corner of Walnut and Columbus that will be an empty space too small for future construction.
Mr. Rector, that's your time, sir, if you don't mind. Okay, that's your time.
Okay.
Give everybody 2 minutes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I will say, again, public comment is limited to items on the MRC agenda. The project in the McKinley neighborhood, as we have all seen, because we're all on the same emails, is not MRC business anymore. We have transferred those properties. It is in an active EDA. And beyond that, I believe the building commissioner is addressing the concerns that we found in the email. Mr. Howe is working with him to address those concerns as best as he can in his capability in his office. But this body has no action that we can take on this item today. It's not a part of our agenda. We will continue with public comment. I'm happy to let everybody say their piece if you would like to, but I'm letting you know there's no action for us to take, and it wasn't a part of our agenda today.
Who gives a shit? Quit saying that,
Rachel
Isaac.
Robertson. Did I say that correctly?
God, I cannot stand him.
My name is Rachel Robertson. I'm the vice president of the McKinley Neighborhood Association. My family and I have proudly called McKinley home for the past 22 years. We raised our children here and invested in this neighborhood because we believe in its future. Through years of public and private investment, we have watched the neighborhood transform. I stand before you as a resident who has spent years advocating for good development. McKinley residents have consistently supported investment, including the YMCA, the Columbus Avenue Corridor, new housing, and the Vanderwall Master Plan. Our concern today is that the proper process is not being followed with new developments. Residents have repeatedly asked questions about the new Eckert project. We have submitted documentation, requested meetings, and sought clarification regarding zoning compliance and permitting decisions. Construction activity appears to be moving forward, while significant questions remain unanswered. Most concerning is that communications between city departments indicated the site plans required variances, yet building permits had already been issued. Residents deserve a clear explanation of how that occurred. The issue before us is bigger than a single development. It is about public trust. Residents who invest in their neighborhoods, participate in public processes, volunteer their time, and follow the rules should be able to trust that those same rules apply equally to everyone. The Vanderwall design standards that were designed to protect our neighborhood were not met with new Eckert. I would also caution other neighborhoods across Muncie to remain vigilant, pay attention to what lots in your neighborhood are owned by the city, the MRC, or entities acquiring property through public transfers. Watch your public Board of Works meetings and watch MRC meetings. Your city officials will move forward with making contracts and deals in development without you. Today it is McKinley, and tomorrow it could be any neighborhood in Muncie. The precedent being set is that development can move forward without meaningful neighborhood input or without zoning laws being followed, even when residents have spent years participating in planning processes and helping shape a vision for their community. Every neighborhood should be concerned by that possibility. You are the governing body of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. Please take action and regain control of Muncie's future developments. Thank you.
Mr. Bill Inman. Sorry, we'll restart your time. We got you.
That's all right. Okay, my name is Bill Inman. My wife and I have lived in the McKinley neighborhood for 20 years. I'm here today to ask for one clear action. Stop construction on these lots until the city holds a public review with McKinley residents. This is no longer just a question about 10 lots sold for $1 each. It is now a question about process, trust, and whether the city is applying the same standards to everyone. Residents were told this development would bring quality townhomes facing Columbus Avenue and would fit the McKinley Live Learn neighborhood standards. What we now see appears materially different. Trees are being cut down, materials are being brought in, and yet the plans we have seen show duplexes being built behind Columbus in a way that will likely make the Columbus-facing lots too small for the townhomes we were told to expect. The townhomes on Walnut Street were required to undergo an extensive review process to demonstrate that their projects fit this neighborhood's vision. The new Eckert developer appears to have somehow bypassed that same level of vetting. If that is not true, then the city should show its full record, the final plans, the committee reviews, the approvals, the permits, and the written quality standards attached to this agreement. Jeff Howe has said that this reflects what the neighborhood wanted. I respectfully disagree. I have attended the majority of the McKinley neighborhood meetings for 20 years, and not a single resident has been given a meaningful opportunity to review the legitimate plans for this project. Our request is simple. Pause construction immediately, release the full documentation, hold a public meeting with McKinley residents, and require enforceable quality standards before any building continues. We're not against development. We are against a rushed, opaque process that puts lower quality construction into a neighborhood that residents have spent decades improving. If the city will not correct this voluntarily, residents are prepared to pursue every available administrative and legal remedy. We would much rather resolve this through transparency and good faith.
Mr. Jonathan Chambliss.
Now, these last couple people, Bruce, Rachel, Bill, very interesting. Very interesting. This next guy getting up and speaking, very interesting. Listen to this.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan with Crew Construction, Jonathan Chambliss, Crew Construction and Crew Properties. As you all know, we're building the townhomes on one.
This is the guy, the brothers, Crew Construction, that was building the homes. They're mad too. They're part of the neighborhood people now. They're upset with the city. There's something going on between Jeff Howe, and Jeff Howe no longer likes these people. There's something going on. I am right now working on digging this out. This is going to be the next thing. This is going to be the next crisis center, the next situation where Dan went down and almost got kidnapped by the people in Memphis. This is going to be the next Southway. This is going to be something that we talk about for the next 6 months on the show, various points of times. This is going to be a big thing because I'm starting to reach into this. I'm starting to get contacted by people from the neighborhood. I'm starting to get contacted by people who live elsewhere in the city, but they feel a sense of passion for these people, and they're wanting to help these people out. I'm starting to get inundated by people who are upset by what's going on.
Oh, this is a habit with Dan, though.
This
is what it's going to look like. This is going to be beautiful. You are going to love this. And then we see these beautiful, cute, little tiny bungalow houses that are going to go in. And when they get built, they are these cheap ass looking pole barn things.
Yeah.
This is par for the course.
Absolutely.
He never has he kept one promise.
Yeah, I know.
One thing he said he's going to do that
Not to
actually
any of
was
us.
done and looked the way that he said it was going to.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. Listen to what this guy's got to say.
On that street. I've reviewed our EDA that we initially wrote with MRC when we built our townhomes and some of the other newer EDAs that have been out there. I'm kind of going to skip quite a bit of my letter just to keep it short and simple, but I'm really concerned about the conversation around quality of life, quality of place, and because like we've done a really, on purpose, a great job of trying to maintain architectural vernacular within that area. And if we develop any other areas, like we're hoping to do some work in the Old West End with Intend, they've done a really good job of communicating with the neighborhood, communicating with the community about their designs, what they're planning on doing. But I guess with me, my architectural background, my education from Ball State, design is not merely about appearance. It affects the property values, the neighborhood, the walkability, the safety, long-term success of the community. And I think that's what this group should be paying attention to. A good example of that in our community now is Washington Street. The values of those properties on that street are significantly higher than the other ones around it. But the buildings you approve or like the decisions you guys make with developers, including me, myself, will affect future development. And sometimes that includes like affecting what is going to be built next to a development. But I don't think it's unreasonable for you guys to ask for design standards in your agreements. I would expect that with my agreements as I've done in the past. So I have a couple questions I want to put out there. But like the first one is like, what is the standard process? I think that's something that Commissioner Bishop has brought up. As a developer, if we approach MRC or approach Jeff, like, do we need to have that conversation first? Do we need to put an offer on the table? What does that look like? The other question is like, for me, like it's hard for us to determine who owns what property unless we have a conversation to start with. Because those properties aren't all the MRC properties that are controlled, aren't developed, aren't able to be purchased. But I have more questions. Maybe we can talk later. But thank you.
Thank you. Bill Lett.
Now, this guy talking. This guy's one of the big people out there who's buying up properties. I'm going to be honest. These were the bad guys in this deal. Though that guy that spoke, this guy is people that I thought that Dan was really working with and they were doing something. Now something has happened here and it really went sideways because now these people are now pissed off and I love it. Something's going on here.
Hi, I'm Bill Lett, and I'm here to talk about the disposition of the property in the McKinley district and how it went terribly wrong. We tried to get meetings with the appropriate people, and nobody would talk to us about what was going to happen. 2 years ago, we think the work actually in Columbus is awesome. All the road work is just awesome. But 2 years ago, we set out on rezoning that whole area. So we rezoned, the mayor helped us too. We rezoned Walnut, we rezoned Columbus, and we rezoned, those are central business district. And then we rezoned R5 for Elm Street. And because of all this, it is actually impossible to build anything on those lots on Walnut, Columbus, and Elm Street. We're not just picking on Columbus here, it's true in the whole thing because of what the zoning got changed to from regular R3. There's and so if it goes through, which it didn't, but if it goes through a variance, it will not pass. I wanted to talk just real quick about the 200, we did what, 2,200 linear foot of road on Columbus. 280 lineal foot is a park, which is where that new park's going to be. 740 lineal foot has already been built on. And the property that's given away to New Eckerd is 920 lineal feet, which is 48% of the central business district area that was given away to build duplexes. And then there's 360 lineal foot left to build on, which this doesn't, All the new lots are given away for $1 for 10 lots. We've been accumulating property, me and other people have accumulating property to actually build when all the site control things are done on Columbus and when all the site control is done in Columbus and Elm Street. We have.
Mr. Lett, that's your time.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rebecca Hanna.
My name is Rebecca Hanna. As a realtor serving Delaware County for more than 20 years and as a resident of downtown Muncie, I care deeply about the future of our city and its neighborhoods. I've become increasingly concerned about the quality of development being encouraged and facilitated by the MRC and city officials in Muncie's legacy neighborhoods. Just 1 year ago, Fox 59 reported Mayor Dan Ridenour envisions Columbus Avenue just like Mass Avenue in downtown Indy, with new restaurants, parking, and a lot of greenery. While I am no expert at Mass Ave, I am fairly certain it doesn't have cheaply constructed duplexes with very few and very tiny windows running parallel to it. But this is what has been approved and permitted for Columbus Avenue in Muncie on lots that were controlled by the MRC. These low-quality rental-focused projects prioritize short-term returns over long-term neighborhood value. They limit tax-based growth and discourage future high-quality investment. As a real estate professional, I can say with confidence that development decisions have consequences. When lower-quality projects are approved in key redevelopment areas, they make it significantly more difficult to attract developers who are willing to invest in higher-quality construction. Investors and developers need confidence that the standards presented in public plans will be upheld and that their investments will not be undermined by lower-quality projects that are held to a different standard. This issue is not simply about architecture. It is about trust, accountability, and the long-term future of Muncie. Citizens deserve honesty about what will be built in their neighborhoods. Developers deserve consistency and predictability. I would encourage the MRC to regain control of the development that is happening on your watch. Engage and actually listen to urban planners, architects, professional developers, and most importantly, the residents who actually live in the neighborhood. Muncie does not have to settle for mediocrity. We should expect excellence from those that we invite to develop here and from the public bodies entrusted with guiding our city's future.
Mr. Rick Yinzer.
Well, I want everybody to think about this for a second. You know, the mayor used to live in this neighborhood. But at some point in the not so distant past, he made a determination to move. Maybe he's not so concerned with what this neighborhood's going to look like now because he's not going to be living there. They're going to be living out by Yorktown now. And so I think that's interesting because he was all about this neighborhood at some point, and at that time he lived there. He was going to be living there. Now they're not going to be living there, and something's up. And a whole bunch of people are upset. And I'm telling you, the people speaking at this meeting, so this meeting, I've said in everything I've talked about today, I've said it was a large crowd at this meeting. That's a little bit of a clickbait because there's not a large crowd, but this meeting is happening at 9 a.m. So for these people to take out of their day to come up here and speak, I am proud of these people. I love seeing this. This is wonderful. I am so thrilled that these people did this. And these people aren't just jack-offs around the city of Muncie. These people are some of the big players in Muncie. And them being pissed off at Dan and not happy with what's going on here is not a good thing. Now, I am currently in the talks with trying to get a husband and a wife, or at least a husband or a husband, a wife, or a husband and wife, a couple, or one or the other, to come on and talk to us about what their concerns are and what's going on. I'm in the process of getting that. Hopefully we'll be able to get that done. But this is going to be the next big investigation that the political spotlight looks into and hammers Dan on for the next several months, because this is going to be a big thing. Rick Ginster gets up and gives it to him a little bit. I like this. Of course, you know he would.
Yes, Rick Ginster, newsman and author. Well, as I've seen today, you're being called out for your development issues where you're bringing in outside developers, outside contractors, and also not wanting what the people want. You know, I just listened to an angry mob the other day about data centers. Maybe you should put a moratorium on housing, because a Ball State study not long ago said we're overbuilt. We're way overbuilt. And the project, as you talked about today at Mason Ridge, That construction firm hit aquifers out there. People are already having problems.
Oh, hold on. My mistake. Sorry.
With water out there. And if it's going to be a more Horton Homes that we've seen over at store, a lot of people in the building industry around here, labor unions, that isn't a quality building. And in the meantime, all this nonsense of taking taxable property off, holding it like through a holding company of the city, it's you're diminishing the tax base here. And I forgot, I'm still asking for public records, which have been denied to me repeatedly here, including a deal with Howe, the mall owners, where you handed over tax money to tear it down. So good luck with any and all of this, because again, people have had enough of not having local labor, local suppliers, or local developers do the work that you want to build more housing in Muncie. Thank you.
I believe this says, is it Kylie Tremaine? Am I reading that right? Okay.
Good morning, members of the commission. My name is Kylie Tremaine, and I'm a board member of the South Central Neighborhood Association. I'm here today standing in strong, united solidarity with the McKinley neighborhood because we in South Central can deeply relate to their frustrations. We know exactly what it feels like to watch a neighborhood's fabric be altered without the community's consent, and we are simply tired of substandard redevelopment being pushed to our doorsteps. To say there is no action for this committee to take because lots have already been transferred misses the point entirely. This commission holds the keys to how land is disposed of and what standards are expected in the developers of the city. You set the precedents. At last month's meeting, Ms. Green shared some insights stating that people used to come here for industry, but they are now coming to Muncie for a sense of place. But to truly create that place, you must collaborate with the residents who currently live there. I believe that we all want the same goal, to invite people in, to stay, grow roots, and build our community. And if that is true, we have to do it together with intention. Our neighborhoods have the local knowledge and leadership to be true partners in this process. Our neighborhood leaders and associations are entirely willing to sit down with you to build a comprehensive plan that works. We live here, we pay taxes here, we raise our children here. We are true stakeholders in this city. Please listen to the neighborhoods and hold future development to high standards our families deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker for public comment who signed up is Mr. Chris Smith, and then we'll move into commissioner comments.
First off, I understand your desire and need to adhere to procedures. I appreciate you giving citizens the opportunity to speak. I'm speaking this morning as the former chair of the McKinley Live Learn Project Management Team, a role I held from the fall of 2018 through the spring of 2023. While I'm currently the president of the Delaware Muncie Planning Commission, I want to be clear I'm not here speaking in that role today. My focus is really on my time working directly in the neighborhood. I was chosen as chair in part because at the time I was serving as the director of the Muncie Area Career Center, partnering with schools, workforce programs, community organizations. The focus of that work was pretty straightforward: reducing blight, improving safety and walkability, and encouraging long-term investment in the neighborhood. There were also ongoing conversations about keeping the residential character stable while identifying appropriate areas for business and transition. I've also stayed closely connected to the neighborhood through my work at Muncie Central High School. My classroom has windows looking across Walnut Street right into the neighborhood, so I see every day how changes there affect the surrounding community. I want to say that I do understand and I support the concerns residents are raising. These are reasonable concerns from people who care about a neighborhood that they've invested in for a long time. What I'm hearing isn't opposition to growth or improvement. It's more about alignment, whether what's being built today still fits the long-term vision that was developed over many years of planning and investment. In particular, duplex construction in areas that were generally discussed as remaining more single-family in character has raised concern. This isn't about one project. It's about making sure there's clarity between the original planning, zoning, and what residents understood the long-term direction to be. I will continue to remain invested in this neighborhood because of my connection to the school right across the street. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. With that, public comment is over. We will move into the time for commissioner comments. You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Mr. Rivilla, do you have anything? Okay.
Hey, can I say something?
Now listen to this.
Okay. So I have a couple things.
I gotta prepare yourselves mentally, folks. Okay, prepare yourselves.
I would like if Mr. Yinzer would be so kind as to forward me a list of developers, local developers that we can talk to. a list. I'd like a full list of who those folks are. I think that'd be great. Second, I would suggest that, and Ms. Wagley can probably answer this question.
How about I forward them up your ass?
You've been doing this job for 2 years and you can't name a local developer?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Absolutely. But I tell you what, Jeff Howe, I will forward them up your ass.
We met with the president of the McKinley Neighborhood Association for how many years? Every single month.
The Live Learn Project Committee has probably been close to 10 years. I wasn't part of it in the beginning.
Monthly meetings.
6 at least that
Monthly
I was part of it.
Monthly meetings. Yeah. So, because there's a lot of talk about communicating. Well, the McKinley Neighborhood District, the McKinley neighborhood has a president that sits on a meeting with folks who are planning development, who initially, by the way, supported this and then decided later, maybe after we did something, that we'd like to pull the plug. But
you might know how long that committee's been active. I know of it for 5 or 6 years.
Good. You're fine. You can address her question.
Like I said, I was been a part of it since 2018.
Okay. So a long time, right? What meetings? So we didn't go door to door. We met with their president
And the mayor.
and the mayor.
School
and
and Vanderwall.
that's right. And Vanderwall. And we look at the plan and we cut and paste some of the things from the Vanderwall or from the development standards into the EDA. The properties, the townhomes will face Columbus. We keep talking about them not facing Columbus. I don't know why that keeps being said, because I don't understand why people don't understand that that's not the case. But we do have, and we have assigned the review of this with the building commissioner, who is the authority to issue building permits, and the city engineer as a consultant. So we are working on this. But some of these statements are just factually not true. And
here's what I have a hard time with. An ongoing issue that I have with the Ridenour administration, meaning Dan at the head and all of the little special, wonderful attitude-like type people that he has working for him. The issue is that myself and many others levy these complaints at them that you're not transparent. You do not like accountability. You will not communicate. We can't get communication from you. You won't talk to us. You won't tell us things. And they will do one of two things. They either prove that by not communicating. They will not communicate, and they prove that they just don't care. Or they say, but we do communicate because we talk to you every month for 6 years, for 10 years, and we did this. Let me explain this to you. If you communicate with me, if I communicate with you every month for 10 years, and every month we whittle down this plan that we're going to do, and we get it down to the point where I finally convince you that I'm going to do A, B, C, and D, and then the color red. And at the end of the day, I come out and say, okay, I did 1, 2, 3 in the color blue. That communication didn't mean shit. If I lie to you when I'm communicating to you, or even if I don't lie, if I tell you a bunch of things because I think that's going to happen, but at the end of the day, something different happens for whatever reason, that communication doesn't mean dick. And that's what this idiot and the rest of these idiots don't understand. That's right. Rick is a newsman, author, and outlaw. It's not his job to have a list of contractors. The MRC should have their own list. Although, I guarantee you that at some point in the later, because this meeting took place at 9 o'clock and it was over by 10:30, I guarantee you Rick put together a list and probably emailed it to him. Guarantee you that happened. I guarantee you that happened. Yeah, that's exactly right. Eric.
And we say it loud, we say it long, we say it repeatedly, but it doesn't change the facts. Some of these things are just not true. Now, we have talked to different developers from out of town, from in town, on multiple projects. And I will tell you this, as it relates to some of the bigger projects, the incentives that the local developers wanted were substantially more, whether it's capitalization or whatever it is, substantially more than some of the other developers. I don't know what the incentives were because I wasn't that involved in it. I was sitting where you are for townhomes on Walnut Street. But I can tell you that the incentives for the development on Columbus, with the exception
There he was just knocking the people shameless when he's talking about the townhomes on Walnut.
of the price for the lots that had almost little or no value, is substantial, or the incentives are nil. Across the street, the incentives for the local developer were 7 figures, requiring 7 figures bigger incentives than the person we selected to do it, who's an out-of-town developer. Now, if we want to give people 7 figures so we can say it's a local developer and that makes us feel better, but I'm guessing the news on that wouldn't be positive either. So, but if we meet every single month for 6 or 7 years and we want to develop, and then we want to talk about, we've got people who have purchased lots and have held them for 7 or 8 years. If this is prime development, why aren't they building? My guy is building, right? The guy we've chose, the developer we've chose is going to build. Now that's upset people because he's going to build. We talked about it's impossible to build there. If it's impossible to build there, I guess it can't be built there. Then what are we talking about? But if they can build there and we can work through matters that we have taken, but we're not going to do this in an unruly gathering of folks. Our folks are reviewing it. They're going to work through it and they're going to find out what needs to be done. But some of these things that are being repeated over and over again are just factually not true. But I will not and cannot stand for somebody saying we weren't talked to. Your president sat at a meeting every single month for years and just now said I was a supporter of the project. Well, guess what? You were a supporter of the project when we signed on to do it.
Is that all, Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Okay. I have
People
two
can't change their
items,
mind?
and I'll try to be quick so that way we can get a move on here with the day. So I live in a neighborhood organization similar to you McKinley folks. I sit on my neighborhood boards. I have a lot of empathy, and that's why I've let public comment go on, even though it was not related to our agenda at all, because I have empathy. And I understand that you want to stand up for your neighborhood and for your homes, and you may not like something, and I respect that. I don't live in your neighborhood, so I can't speak to how you feel about that or all the items you love or hate. I've been on the emails. I've seen all those things. We could repeat those ad nauseum, but that's a waste of our time at this point. So I just want to come at you guys from a place of empathy. I understand where you're coming from. I've been on a neighborhood board that's fought development that we didn't like and won. There was going to be a gas station in our backyard and we fought it and won. So it's a small example. I've been in your shoes is what I'm trying to say. I think when we have empathy in some of these public settings, it just takes the temperature down and helps us all understand each other a little better. So I want to talk about two things under the umbrella of empathy. I want to talk about two things. Okay. First is process. So how did this come to be, right? This commission voted by, I believe, a vote of 5-0. It might have been 4-0 if someone wasn't here, but I was here. So I believe it was 5-0 to transfer these properties to a holding company that the MRC uses. So that way it helps us cut through some of the red tape of how state code is written and local government works. That allows Mr. Howe, who has an extensive background in this type of work, to negotiate with people who want to build, developers, local people, out-of-state people, whomever. And what we found is that process has been extremely useful to us at the MRC because getting someone to come to Muncie, Indiana and do development, whether it's a local builder or an out-of-town builder, is extremely challenging process-wise. It's extremely challenging. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. And so what the MRC has found is that if we can be more efficient in transferring properties to a holding company to allow us to better negotiate on behalf of the city and get better, I guess I would say, fiscal deals out of the properties. It opens us up to listen to neighborhoods, talk to people, see what people want in those negotiations. That's how that process has undergone. Okay, so to start, the commission voted 5-0 because Mr. Howe believed that he had someone who could build on a decent amount of lots that were not being built on. They were not being invested in. They were just there. And the MRC, I don't know how long the MRC had held those lots, years, I believe, if I'm correct.
Years.
So Mr. Howe found someone who was willing to do a big swath project all at once, which was more advantageous for this body who has to manage our money wisely because there's not a lot of it to go around. And so Mr. Howe, with his expertise, negotiated that deal. They signed the EDA. You all have seen that because most of you in this room, I think, are on those emails. And that EDA is in place. There is no action for the MRC to take on that EDA at this point. To renege on that EDA, I think would be at minimum inappropriate, but would certainly make the city look bad and would probably discourage other developers from coming here and wanting to build because
now You want me to tell you who the holding company is that he's talking about, that all these things go through? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's ECI Community Development. And in case you don't remember who that is, that's East Central Indiana Community Development, which is none other than, again, Mr. Bill Walters. All this is for them to circumvent the appraisal process. That's all this is, because Ridenour was getting a bunch of shit for jamming stuff through as quickly as possible. And one of those things that he would do, and that he kept getting hit over the head with by Andrew Dale and other people, was that he was kind of playing fast and loose with the law concerning the appraisals. That's what this is all about, is circumventing the appraisal process.
As I've been a part of many of these public meetings over the last 5 to 10 years, I can tell you that developers, people who want to build business, who want to come here and do things, they do watch these meetings. And so for us to renege on that EDA, I don't think would be a wise choice of action for us or for the neighborhood. Now, the other concerns, I think the real concerns that need addressed that you've pointed out in your emails are the zoning and the overlay issues and all those things. I'm not going to address them specifically because we don't have time for that. But I believe Mr. Howe is working with the building commissioner's office to get those addressed in some format. And I'm assuming that's also in cohesion with the city engineer and the plan commission. All those communications, all those things are being worked out as government should. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to work those things out. So Mr. Howe, I'm sure you'll have an update on that at some point. We're all on the emails, so I'm sure we will see them. But I just want to speak to the process. That's how this process has worked so far. Now, if other developers have had a different development process, there's a slew of reasons for that. It could be Mr. Howe and the mayor didn't believe that certain developers had financing to do as big of a project. Maybe they didn't believe in the body of work that certain developers have shown us. Whether that's in town or out of town, doesn't matter. These things are extremely fluid, but I think the point is our process is trying to take advantage of the tools we have to ensure that things are being built and that development is happening in our city and that we're not having blight and abandonment, which is the goal of the MRC. It's what we're supposed to address. So that's process. The second question I would ask the neighborhood individuals, people who actually live in McKinley and actually own property in McKinley, is who gains.
Hey, real quick before you go, Charlize. No, nothing is happening on with the old Y. There's no third story being added. And to my knowledge, nothing extra is going on with that. There's been nothing going on with it. I don't foresee anything going on with it for a while. I just don't think that there will be anything happening with it, period. And I just don't see anything going on with that. So nothing is going on with that. Now you're free to go.
Today, there are people
almost
in
over,
this town who have made a concerted effort to buy up lots of property in your neighborhood. I don't know that they've done anything with that property that they've bought in your neighborhood.
The NRC board and director is in on it, 100%.
But I can say, if someone were to move into my neighborhood and buy up a swath of properties and not do anything with them, and then come and advocate that this commission needs to go back on their strategy of development, so that way they could make gains in the future.
He's speaking badly about Bill Lett and a couple of the other people in there. They're speaking bad. They're knocking these people that are the citizens that are in there speaking right now is what they're doing, slapping them in the face when the citizens were only permitted 2 minutes to speak on something that wasn't on the agenda. Now they are getting 10 minutes each to drill these people, which is complete bullshit.
I would be very concerned and I would be very skeptical. So you do with that what you have to. It's your neighborhood. You guys are going to advocate and do your best for the place that you live. And I respect that very, very much. I honor that today. I hope that you've seen that. If there's anything that I can be helpful with as president of this commission in terms of just communication, whether that be to Mr. Howe or to the mayor, I'm happy to do that. I'm a very easy to reach person. You'll have my email. I'm happy to chat with you. Add me as a friend on Facebook, whatever. But if you're having trouble, I guess, feeling like you're able to communicate with the administration, I'm happy to act as a liaison towards that. You may not like some of the pushback that I give you if I disagree with you. And if you don't want to go through me, that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You all have communicated well on your behalf without me. So it's not a need. It's just something that I want to offer to be available because I've been in your shoes. And I know that can be intimidating dealing with government, local, state, federal, whatever. I've been in these processes. I'm in a lot of these conversations with Jeff. I try to support him as best as I can.
That's exactly right,
Mr. Howe, for
Dad. That is exactly right.
At least trying to address your concerns. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this. He's taken on working now 3 jobs in City Hall because of some medical challenges to the mayor. And I respect him very much for that. I think he's
getting compensated
on behalf
for
of
it.
Muncie, and he has a background in this work that is extremely impressive. A lot of people don't know Mr. Howe's background. I won't brag on you too much. You can brag on yourself if you want, but his background is in this type of work, and I trust him with this work. If I didn't trust him with this work, I would directly tell the mayor the commission doesn't want to employ him. So you know, I stand by him and his expertise.
Oh, it's Isaac's
and I stand by this
decision.
commission and our work. But I just want to be clear again to close out my thoughts, and I'll pass it over. There is no action for the redevelopment commission to take at this point on this item anymore. There's no more action for us to take. The actionable items are now with the building commissioner's office, the city engineer, potentially the planning commission, I think technically. And that's going to be really your next steps, I think, beyond us. Those are my thoughts. Do you have anything?
No, well, yeah, I guess I say no, but yes, we cannot, I just want to reiterate what you just said. We cannot suspend construction. We cannot refuse to issue permits. We cannot, that is not our job. Our job was to work with the developer, come up with the EDA that does meet the design standards of the neighborhood that were in place at the time. We have supported the issuance of the new overlay district, as our ability to do that is by writing letters of support to the Plan Commission, who is the body that will accept that and move that to City Council. So those letters from us and from the mayor and from Jeff will follow them. That is the process for the overlay district, the process for the zoning, the variances, the stop work orders. If that's the building commissioner, the city engineer.
Absolutely, Admiral.
Our job was to find a developer, put together the EDA, and sell the properties, and that's what we have done.
Yes, Kate.
The mayor has repeatedly met with a lot of the individuals in this room. I say this from my other hat that I wear, has met with a lot of individuals in this room, with each of you, has met with the neighborhood as a whole, and has attended various other meetings and stated these properties will face Columbus. I looked through them last week through the building permits. There's one that doesn't, and that's the one at Elm and Columbus, because it's half a lot, and every other corner in your neighborhood, the corner lots face the side streets, not the north-south streets, not the east-west streets. So that one property on Columbus that's going to face Elm instead of Columbus is the only one that doesn't have its front door to Columbus. The building of these new properties was adjusted by new to match the material that's going up on Walnut for the exterior. And I see somebody shaking their head. I don't know how you don't. I mean,
They might be shaking their head because they're just flabbergasted and disgusted at you assholes in the room. That might be just, I've sat in meetings before, not specifically about what's being said, but just because I'm overall just over it and just shook my head. Shut up, Shareen.
That's fact. That's fact. They changed the material from the materials that they proposed to the same exact materials that are being used on Walnut Street to match the quality of what is going up in the neighborhood. And unfortunately,
so again, the outside might look okay, but everything, it'll fall down inside and be shit inside because it's a lesser product. Because again, they are prioritizing the scale and speed of the construction over design and quality of the construction. Yes.
If you're changing materials, then you're probably changing the look too.
Mm-hmm.
We're changing materials to the same material. No.
She's saying they're changing what they were going to do to match what was on Walnut.
Okay. So the plans that you guys all liked.
Yeah.
That you approved of when we started talking to you about this, here in the last minute before we actually start, doing the shoveling, right now we're going to go ahead and change it.
No. I think you're misunderstanding. So when they first talked, they had some plans and they liked some stuff, and part of those plans were the houses on Walnut Street. Okay. Then some shit went through and some different stuff happened, and they were going to do something else. And those people that got those plots or pieces of land and are going to build, they're changing back to at least the outside material to make it look like the original plan. So they're trying to win the people over by saying, well, at least it'll look the same. It'll look, it'll be, that looks like red barn material, and that's going to look like red barn material. It's not going to be red and black. It's going to look the same. It might be shitty construction and it might not be the same thing, but at least it'll look the same. Yeah, that's like having a red Corvette and having, a purple, Sunfire and saying, well, I'm going to paint the Sunfire red. At least it'll look like the red Corvette. Okay. They can recall any issue that they feel wasn't correct. Yes, sir. Yes, Admiral.
New is watching. They want
wanted to come to Muncie. They have a long time standing with Muncie as
They
the brother. was the
wanted
coach
to
at
come
Muncie,
to
so they have a long
Muncie.
connection with Muncie. They wanted to come to Muncie.
They're
And this
his
is the long
brother
term that they want.
coaches at
So hopefully they'll
Central.
stay and continue to develop. Or they own all these properties and they sit for the next 20 years with grass growing. That's what's the option. So I guess I said more than I wanted to, but I've been barraged with emails on both sides from MRC and my other hat that I wear. And I think a lot of it's wrong. And we can't combat lies. When you're being told lies and you're believing lies, all we can do is just say the truth. And if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't.
Mr. Bill, you have anything to add?
I think you guys have said, I mean, there's not much else I can say other than what you guys said. When I was asked to join this board, I did it because I'm a lifelong citizen of Muncie. I was born in Bow Hospital. I've lived here. I've not lived anywhere else. I work here. My family's here, and I love this community. We as a committee voted to have someone develop on lots that had not been developed on in years and was not creating tax dollars. And everything I do on this board is meant to hopefully make the city better. I hope the design gets worked out, and I hope that you guys are happy with the end result. But as I said, I mean, I could sit up here and call for a recall on that, but my signature means nothing in the city. There's nothing I can do on this. I hope we're all happy in the end, and I hope
Make a motion to motion to recall what you guys have done. Let's see. Do it. The people will stand behind you. So he just apparently there are things they can do, but he feels like that wouldn't mean anything because he knows he's just a peon. He knows he's nobody. Okay, so that's very interesting that he said that.
I hope it's a great development.
He hopes it's great.
I don't mind. One more sentence. Just one more thing. I just want to make it clear too to those of you that don't know. I have an investment in this neighborhood, although I don't live there. For 21 years, I have owned a home, and that is my home. That's 2 blocks from the McKinley neighborhood. So if the McKinley neighborhood turns around, I benefit from that too. So I hope that this is all successful. But I live there too. 2 blocks is not that far away. So I just want to make that clear.
There are no other items on our agenda. Commissioner comments are closed, so we will stand adjourned until our July 16th, 2026 meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely ridiculous. I just cannot believe that they are the way they are. Complete asshole behavior to the citizens. Absolutely gross. Shocking that they're okay with that. This is the early stages of this investigation into this. This is something that we are going to be on, and this is the next big thing that we will be looking into as far as the city of Muncie. There'll be lots of other little things that are going on, but this will be a behind the scenes constant push, something that we're talking about a lot for the next several months, I believe. So excellent display of tyranny in action. Absolutely. So that's that. I have 2 other quick things I want to say. Number one, not concerning Muncie. I have been talking more to the people concerning the Dunreath, town of Dunreath, and the Dunreath Volunteer Fire Department. And I am going to start doing some things on it. Hopefully it'll be in maybe the middle of next week. We'll be talking about that, maybe as soon as Monday or Tuesday. So we'll be talking about that. Lastly, just kind of as a weird thing with Muncie, I did want to hit just briefly that we received a massive press release today. And this was a big thing. I want to put this up. We'll go ahead and call this breaking news. This is big. It's very important. And I want you guys to be aware of this. I should have done this at the very beginning. Don't know why I held it to the very end, but this is it, ladies and gentlemen. So from the desk of the communications director for the city of Muncie, this is very, very big. I want you guys to listen to this. June 18th, 2026 for immediate release, Tui Pool operations update from the acting executive, Jeff Howe. I am pleased to provide an update regarding Tui Pool and its operations for the current season. Earlier this year, the city was notified that the YMCA would no longer be operating Tui Pool. They actually found that out last year, but okay, we'll say earlier this year if that's fine. Following that notification, city officials conducted a review of the facility and discovered significant infrastructure and equipment issues. Based on those findings, the parks director estimated the repairs needed to restore safe and reliable operations would exceed 1 million, leading the administration to believe the pool would likely remain closed for the season. Despite those challenges, the determination, collaboration, and the hard work of employees across multiple departments made it possible to open the pool and provide this important recreational opportunity for local families. That's amazing. This outcome reflects a significant team effort and demonstrates the city's commitment to serving the community. Several departments played a critical role in making the opening possible. The Muncie Sanitary District Department of Public Works Special Projects Coordinator, whoever the hell that is, I think that might be Dustin, and the city engineer dedicated considerable time and expertise to addressing equipment issues and implementing repairs necessary to achieve the fire and functional operations. Their contributions extend beyond those efforts, but it was their work on the pool systems that ultimately enabled the facility to open. Once it became clear that operations could proceed, the Human Resources Department successfully recruited a qualified manager and lifeguards to staff the facility, while the Muncie Police Department promptly coordinated security arrangements to support a safe environment for patrons and staff. You'll notice the Muncie Fire Department did nothing like usual. A little police fire joke. Everybody be cool. I love the firemen. It is what it is. It was just a joke. Okay. While the pool is open and operating, challenges remain, of course. Aging equipment continues to require ongoing attention, and our department partners regularly monitor and address operational issues as they arise. Additional pump and valve repairs are anticipated, and we expect to continue managing equipment-related challenges until those improvements are completed. I would also recognize the members of the Parks and Recreation Board, Shannon Powers, Brad Marshall, along with the city's legal representation from Beasley Gilkinson, who have generously shared their knowledge, experience, and expertise throughout this process. What? Because they talk to their pool boys and pool girls? Or I'm confused.
Oh,
What did
no,
the legal
all the
part-
court filings you have to do to be allowed to open a pool.
to
every
open
year.
a pool? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
like, hours and hours of legal expertise needed for that.
Absolutely crazy. Their assistance has been valuable as we have worked through operational and maintenance challenges. Amber Green, City of Muncie. And then this last paragraph. So forget the Amber Green part. Although work remains, we are hosting many families during the open swim days. 7 days a week, minus 1, 2, 3, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's 4 days a week, but like one day, it's like three or 4 days a week. Not a full week, maybe two or 3 days a week. We are hosting families during open swim days. You notice they don't say open all week, just on the swim days. Swim club, several days a week. Aquatics exercises, classes 2 days a week. Have a swim meet scheduled for Father's Day weekend. Field trips booked every Tuesday for the season. We are grateful for the determination of everyone involved and hope that the pool patrons will enjoy the facility while appreciating the substantial effort required to make the season possible. Jeff Howe. Aww. He's a big old teddy bear with a really big heart. He's such a good guy. Like, that guy is legitimately somebody who truly cares. And I'm here for it. I'm really, really, really here for it. I absolutely love it. Let me tell you what I heard as I read this. Breaking news. As can be seen in the press release below, employees of the city of Muncie are getting up in the morning. Some eat breakfast, some don't. Some listen to music on the way into work or sports radio, or others listen to talk radio. Some drive in silently. Once they get to work, they start the day's work, and lo and behold, they do their jobs as they're supposed to. Outside of that, nothing extraordinary happened in any way. They just wanted you to know, and well, they wanted a gold star for their normal day, for their normal daily work too, it seems. So for those of you that scratch your heads and say, what? Isn't this what they're supposed to be doing? I guess it's good that they're at least doing their jobs. Here we are. For those of you, the Dan addicts, who want to fall about the place, telling them how wonderful they are for doing what they are supposed to be doing, well, here we are. Take it as you want to take it. I cannot believe that was a press release that actually went out. They told us literally nothing in that press release. That press release told us that they are basically doing, they're the bare minimum. Thank you for doing your job. If you were doing more than the bare minimum, it would be open 7 days a week. So I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe that was their honest to God. They sent that out as a freaking press release. That is absolutely asinine. I could not, never seen anything like that before in my life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's it. That's all. That's it. No more. We're done for the night. That means we're also done for the week. It is Thursday. We will not be here tomorrow. Thank God. We will not be here Saturday. Thank God. Unless something just crazy happens, but we're going to really try for that not to happen. So we will see you back here Sunday night at 9 p.m. Remember, before you leave, please smash the like button. If you haven't shared the link to the show on your social media, just hit share, copy, paste, and hit share. And if you're here on Facebook, share the link to the YouTube. Wherever you're at, share the YouTube link. Please. That helps us out a lot. Hit the like, share the YouTube, do all of that stuff. Word of mouth. We are growing by leaps and bounds on our audio podcast here and on all of our platforms across Facebook. So we want to thank you guys for everything, for all you do. We love it. Thank you. Hey, we did our jobs, which we were paid to do, but we need accolades to sing our praises. Absolutely. That's what we need to start doing here. That's what we need you guys to do. Sing our praises even greater. That's what I'm asking for right now. You guys know how to find us if you need to get a hold of us, okay? It's very easy. We make it safe and easy and fun. We don't burn sources, so you guys know what to do. Until then, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a great Friday. Yes. Have a great weekend, and we will see you back here Sunday night. Take care. Good night. God bless. And goodbye. No, wait. Goodbye. I got to get this thing off the screen. Goodbye. Good.